I need that sports encyclopedia. Where you at, Steve Kim? Got Trent in the cut.
What are you?
He's the best.
Yeah.
He's a master motivator.
I'm a master motivator. I ain't no regular ass motivator. I'm a fucking master.
Coaches tried to make practice so hard that the game was less intrusive. Like they coached you that way. Like people think, well, they were just yelling. No, they were trying to put you under stress and put you in under duress so that when you got in the game, you could mentally handle adversity.
If you go through Juco and you make it out of Juco, you can make it anywhere.
I respect the hell out of you to see that you're doing what you're doing and still doing what you're doing for real, the way you do it, man. From day one, you had the same enthusiasm. You keep the same enthusiasm, and it's fucking contagious.
In my opinion, I think Shedeur Sanders the best deep ball in college football. I don't think
he's. Can you just say something nice about Shedeur Sanders?
I love talking ball. It's nice to connect with guys that are like-minded and just are real and genuine.
And I'll proudly stand up next to you all. God bless America.
You said belt to ass, T-Red. You got the belt around you.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is a man who he spoke to every single NCAA college football 2025 team seemingly on the internet. From Last Chance U, national champion, Coach JB.
Yeah, Coach.
What's up, gentlemen?
Coach, just great car, great stick. Thank you for pulling off to the side of the road. Hope you don't get killed here. Honestly, the side of the road, LA, I assume, that's not necessarily the safest place on earth. So we'll make this quick. How do you feel about all of these new coaches now in this NCAA college football 2025 game using your speeches to motivate these boys from one side of the country to the other, Coach?
I feel broke.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Can I get like a royalty or something? Like, Netflix already screwed me. I'm getting screwed by EA Sports now too? Like, holy shit. I hit him up. I reached out to him like, hey, trying to be cordial and nice. I'm a nice guy, you know me.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, EA Sports, maybe I can actually be your video guy than to actual do a real video instead of using my name, image, and likeness.
Oh, shit.
And maybe I can get a little piece of the pie, but nah, it's all right. Just keep sharing my 500 million views of it.
I don't mean to laugh at you, but obviously you are a hilarious, miserable person, and this is kind of is how it goes.
Hey, Pat, I was actually chilling. My back went out yesterday, so I didn't even do my show today. So I just left my chiropractor, and I'm waiting on this damn cigar company to open. They're late, of course. I mean, come on.
Shit.
Okay, so life is good. Last question for me, because I know the last time we talked to you, you had not watched the Netflix series Last Chance U. You said that. You said, I've not watched it, but obviously you've heard from everybody. Now, do you see some clips that come across your way? You're like, I don't remember saying that. And then all of a sudden, oh, I killed that. And do you judge your clips whenever you see them? You're like, I murdered that one.
Nah. A broad came over to the house the other day, and I didn't really want to watch Netflix with her and chill. But she wanted to watch the show. We watched one episode.
Okay.
And I'm like, I can't watch this.
Okay.
And she was like, oh my God. I'm like, I don't want to watch this. It was the first. What up, what up, what up? We are in the building, man, and crispy clean. And, yeah, we had a little technical difficulty in the backdrop, so Bailey handled it. We are in the building. No, it was on my end, not Bailey. Bailey fixed it. But we are here. It is Merciless Monday, so pound that like, subscribe, become a member. We are a loaded lineup today as boxing legend, the main man who covered George Foreman in his prime, Al Bernstein, joins the show, man. So lucky to have a legend on like that. Al Bernstein will be joining us. And former basketball head coach, former Arizona Wildcat player, played on some great teams with Gilbert Arenas and played for Lute Olson. Josh Pastner joins us, who's now a basketball inside analyst. He'll talk all things March Madness, Sweet 16. He'll be joining us. Plus, Shaun King will co-host the show today with me as Smitty's flying back from New York City. So we got a loaded lineup today. Pound that like, subscribe, become a member if you're not. This show's powered by BetUS TV. Head on over to BetUS TV right now and tell them we sent you. And then make sure you subscribe to it on social media and all things. But let's dive into it, man. We got a loaded lineup today. We had a damn computer malfunction on my end, so we had to get took me a minute. So Bailey handled it. So we didn't miss a beat. Shaun King will join us here in probably 30 minutes or so, and he'll hop on for the remainder of the show. And then we'll have all these fire guests on as we continue to have the best guests on the realest show on planet Earth. Big George is what we call them. George Foreman, two-time world heavyweight champion, Olympic gold medalist. He is a namesake of George Foreman Grill, of course. And no, people, you youngsters, that's not what he's known for. Not for making hamburgers. Even though he made $1 billion off of it, he's the namesake for being in the ring. Made $1 billion off the grill, and his kids' names all started with the G. But damn, was he a legend in and out of the ring. After a troubled childhood, this man took up amateur boxing, didn't even know what he wanted to do. I followed his story closely because he was just one of those guys that when you're a young kid growing up, you're like, man, this dude right here did it the right way. And then he turns professional basically a year after the 68 Summer Olympics, and then he won the heavyweight world title with a stunning second-round knockout of undefeated at the time, Joe Frazier. I think it was in like 73. He defended the belt, I think, twice before suffering his first loss to, of course, Muhammad Ali in the Rumble in the Jungle, which was the famous fight in 1974. And then after that, he was just unable to secure another title opportunity. I would go watch the movie, the show, the documentary they did on him. It was a pretty damn good movie. And then listen, man, I think he lost to Jimmy Young in 77. I was 1 year old, and then I think that was it for him. And then he had to fight addiction and everything else to get back on track. And listen, I'm not going to tarnish his legacy, but man, listen, we got to stop with these celebrities who are pushing certain things, man, because George Foreman, as much as I love him, he pushed the vaccine unlike any other, and they paid him a lot of money to do so. And it's what year, how old is he? It's far too young to die after he's been punching the punching bag just months ago on social media. Hitting it like me and Steve Kim says, damn, he'll knock your ass out still. I don't get it. We're dropping way too young, man. And we're supposed to be getting older with technology, not dying younger with technology. But anyway, we'll dive into that with Al Bernstein and Shaun King a little bit later. On another note, though, ladies and gentlemen, let me just drop some truth bombs on you guys real quick. The women's tournament. Hopefully we'll have Coach Yo on, who's got her running Rebs in the Sweet 16. Coach Yo always hops on this time of the year. A great friend, great coach, a buddy of mine. She'll be joining us this week, I hope, as she got the Ole Miss running Rebs in the Sweet 16. Huge win the other night. But I got to be honest, and I'm going to ask her, and she keeps it real. We need to cut this down. It has to be down to 32 teams max. And in my humble opinion, ladies, we got to stop this. This is a absolute mockery of having this many teams in the women's tournament. UConn won 103-34. What does that do for basketball? What does it do for the women's sport? What does it do for the women who got beat by 100? What does it do? What does it do for the girls at Arkansas State? Seriously. So they can go out and say, we were on national television against UConn and got beat by fucking 70. Seriously, what does that do? By the way, Texas won 105-61. What does that do? LSU beat a San Diego State women's team who has no business for whatever reason being in this tournament. And San Diego State, you should be ashamed of yourself for being this bad in women's basketball. But you got beat 103-48 by LSU. 103-48. You have no business being in this tournament. USC, they allowed 25 points. Yes, 25 points in the whole game. And then Duke turns around and does the same exact thing. They allow 25 points as well. Come on, man. We need to have 32 teams max. These girls don't need to be beat this bad on national scale. Just because you could say you're on national television. For what? Just to say you made the tournament? Come on, man. We could do better. And let those teams in the NIT or some other tournament. But make this much more competitive, man. By playing real teams and allowing only the best teams in. The discrepancy is just way too far off. But what do I know? Let's dive into it, man. We got a loaded lineup today. Obviously, Shaun King will join us here probably about 30 minutes. And then we'll have Josh Pastner joining us in the first hour. And then we'll talk all things March Madness and hoops, Sweet 16 men. And then we'll have Al Bernstein, legendary boxing cover analyst, color guy on. We may be having Jim Lampley on tomorrow with Steve Kim. That's in the loom. We'll wait and see on that one. But if that's so, that's huge. If that's true, we'll have two of the best, greatest boxing analysts ever, basically. We'll be joining this realest show on planet Earth. I don't know, man. I'm confused on this women's thing. I wouldn't let 64 teams in, but I'm going to ask Coach Yo when she joins us this week. The blowouts are not good for anybody. They don't help the good teams get better, and they're just it's a blast in the school's face to be sitting here on national television and getting beat 103-48. I mean, come on. San Diego State got beat 103-48. That's a major school. Come on, man. It's a joke. But anyway, let's dive into the quote of the day brought to you by BetUS TV. Head on over there today. There's no Smitty to rank this, so the chat, you're going to have to rank it on your own. But never trust words. Some people have sugar on their lips, but venom in their hearts. Yeah, that's true. That is a real quote. Never trust words. Some people have sugar on their lips and venom in their hearts. I don't trust the words of you. Remember, you are what you do and what you say you do, not what you say. You are what you do. You are who you are, not what you say and who you say you are. I don't give a fuck how many people say, I'm this guy. No, you're not. Show me. You fucking talk too much. That's the bottom line. You are who you are, not who you say you are. So stop saying who you are and fucking do it. A lot of you sugar lip motherfuckers out here got venom in your hearts, boy, I tell you. Contrary to Belief, brought to you by Prize Picks. Head on over there. You want all things DFS. Use the promo code Coach JB. My silence doesn't mean I agree with you. It just means you left me speechless with your stupidity. Just because I'm quiet don't mean I agree with you, slap dicks on fucking Twitter. It just means you left me speechless with your fucking stupidity. That's what it means. Sorry, contrary to belief. Poll question, let's dive into it. A lot of you guys can answer it in the chat. But so far, Sweet 16 has been stamped. We are headed to the Sweet 16. Who's the biggest surprise of the tournament so far? That's my question to you. Top 17, 10 of 10. Appreciate it. 9 of 10. Top 5, King David said. Top 50, Vince said. Gene said, venom in your hearts, bar. Yeah, it's top 20. Who's your team? Arkansas, obviously, is the first one, right? Arkansas pops out, beating St. John's. The two Paisanos went at it, and they don't like each other very much, but they respect the hell out of each other. Rick Pitino, John Calipari, Arkansas 10 seed, who starts 0-5 in the SEC this year, is now in the Sweet 16. Look, you can say what you want about Cal. We've all talked about his X's and O's, drawing it up. It's always Jimmys and Joes with him, as how many NBA players he sent in the first round more than anybody. He knows talent. He's a hell of a recruiter. Look what he's done at Arkansas already. When he took the job, there was one returning player. Everyone had left Arkansas. Calipari came in, rebuilt the whole roster in the offseason, has them in the tournament, 10 seed. They beat the 2 seed, and now they're in the Sweet 16. What a job he's done, but that's what he's always been doing, by the way. Michigan State is a team that I look at. The old heads in the room. Izzo got their team back in. UConn, man, damn near pulled it off, losing its Florida by 2. Very impressive. Hurley walks off, cussing out everybody, mad at the world. I love him. I love the dude myself. You can say what you want to say. Sore loser. Well, he's 2-time national champs in a row, back to back. So I don't know how that's a sore loser. If that's a sore loser, then fuck, make me a sore loser. Make me a sore loser. Throw me the key. I want to be the sore loser, 2-time national champ, back to back. You can talk all that shit you want. Bottom line is, they almost beat Florida and almost were. If they beat Florida, I don't know if they lose again, to be real. They're that close from maybe not losing again. But it is what it is. And he's had all these, sound bites this year. I saw the end of that game. I thought the refs fucked him on that. And he was absolutely right, talking shit to the Baylor crowd, telling them, hope they don't fuck you like they fucked us. That's exactly what he told them. Gotta love his his raw authenticity. I like Hurley. I like his whole DNA. So it is what it is. But they lost. Florida moves on. I did have Florida moving on. Them in Auburn is going to move on. And I got Houston as my champ. They're alive. But my dark horse fucked my whole tournament. So I was doing great until Vanderbilt loses in the first fucking round to a bunch of fucking nobodies out of fucking St. Mary's. But Vanderbilt fucked my whole shit. They fucked my whole bracket off, but it is what it is. Houston wins. I'll still win me a little coin. Houston looks good, and they are in the Sweet 16, so we'll see. Colorado State was an upset alert team. Maryland beats them on a buzzer beater, 12 versus 4 seed. I don't know how that happened. Colorado State, you let that one get away. But Arizona, I got to look at Arizona. Listen, I know they beat fucking Akron, and last night beat Oregon, down big versus Oregon, down 15. Old Pac-12 rival game. And you know what? They look pretty damn good to me. I'm going to be honest. Duke looks good, but I think everyone expected them to. You can say that that's a shocking team or not. I don't know what you're going to think about that, but I think Duke's expected to be here. Shaun King will join us here to talk about that in a few. Arizona, though, is a shocking team to me. But I think Arkansas has got to take the cake as a 10 seed, beating St. John's as a 2. Even though St. John's, in my opinion, hadn't really beat anybody all damn year. We got former Arizona Wildcat and former Division I head coach Josh Pastner joining us here in about an hour, and we'll discuss his Arizona Wildcats making to the Sweet 16. We'll ask him about Gilbert Arenas and how his show has blown up, former teammate of his, and how great Lute Olson was as a coach and mentor on and off the court, and then who he has in the Sweet 16 and what he thinks about John Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks. We'll dive into that as well. But let's dive into it, man. I got an old friend of mine who a lot of you guys out in the Midwest may know who he is. A guy named Brad Underwood and a guy named Chris Beard, both old Juco guys. We'll take a listen, man. I want to break down the history of this, but take a listen to what they had to say after his Illinois team gets a win and moves on.
Being here, hearing your name on Selection Sunday, playing in one of the great.
Ask him about his Dodge City defense. Dodge City defense.
Hey, it was freaking spectacular compared to that bullshit Fort Scott. God.
We were an offensive team.
Hey, we played the rodeo arena. The dust was so bad we couldn't even play. Good gracious, golly.
It's your good time.
Seriously, they played in the rodeo arena.
What was that arena like?
Half of it was a rodeo arena, indoor rodeo arena, and the wind would blow and the dust was blowing. Every 10 seconds they had to mop the floor. I mean, I shouldn't say anything. I was in Dodge City, the cowboy capital of the world. So. But good dude, good coach.
What's it like that you guys are both here in the NBA arena playing in the tournament?
Yeah, we're just a bunch of Juco guys. We coach ball, and we get to live out our dreams, and that's what this thing's about. Just as much for coaches as it is for players, and that's what makes this fun and enjoyable. And you meet a lot of really good people along the way, and Chris is one of them.
So he started his career basically getting his first big time Juco gig at Independence, where I was at, obviously on Netflix. He was a Juco guy, goes to Dodge City, turns basically both programs around. And Chris Beard's also a Juco guy. What he meant by the rodeo arena, let me give you a little insight. A lot of you guys in the know, I know Shaun Waffle, a lot of you Kansas City guys, a lot of Kansas Juco guys in the chat. Fort Scott is they have a rodeo, a big time rodeo, and they have a rodeo arena where the basketball court is. And so when he said you play in a rodeo arena at Fort Scott, you did. Dodge City at least had its own arena. Fort Scott, a rodeo arena. So you're really going to get dirty and dusty in the basketball game. There's literally rodeo dirt kind of come onto the court. And it's Juco at its finest, and it's Kansas Juco at that. So shout out to Brad Underwood, man, who's kind of like a Kansas legend when it comes to Juco in hoops. And now he's got Illinois in the Sweet 16. So shout out to him and Chris Beard. A bunch of Juco guys, man. It's about the players and the coaches. Shit, it is what it is. So, you know, I love it. I think it's great for Juco. The more people talk about Juco, the better. And now we'll see what happens with this whole unlimited clock rule and all the shit that's happening in the NCAA right now. We'll see if the Juco kids, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But we are going to dive into something this week, as I've just gotten news to. Juco NIL is coming down the pipe. So it's already happening here at 4 schools in California. So I'm going to break that down with a Juco insider here on the show this week, because for the big time Jucos have already approved it. It's on their websites, and the NIL is happening at the Juco level here in California. My bad. I meant Illinois on the road to the Sweet 16. They end up losing to another SEC team, but we're going to talk to Josh Pastner about that as Coach Beard got it done. Kentucky moves on. SEC ended up being better than everyone thought after the first rough start. You got all the SEC teams back in it. Kentucky, Ole Miss, Tennessee beat my UCLA Bruins. And now the SEC looks like that's the league to beat. And we'll ask Josh Pastner about that in a minute. Let's dive into this Tiger Woods thing. Bailey, I gotta ask everybody. I don't know if we have his tweet, Bailey, if you could find it. Yeah, there we go. Tiger Woods, I want to be clear here, is fucking with one of the Trump's exes. And this man has the audacity to ask for privacy for anyone close to their hearts. This man has the audacity to ask for privacy after this dude has literally crashed a car high as a kite, literally got hit with golf clubs in the street on film, and has a recording of his motherfucking self with hoes, high-paid hoes on top of that. How the fuck can you really ask for privacy? Come on, dog. Come on, dog. Why are you even bringing it up, Tiger Woods? Why are you even bringing this shit up? This shit is unbelievable. Why would you even bring this shit up? I got to be honest. Stop the cap, as y'all would say. Apparently, Vanessa Trump. What's her get down, Bailey? What she was with? What, Trump's son or something? How are you? We just talked about pass around hoes. Why would you take a pass around?
Vanessa Trump was married to Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah, Don Jr. Don Jr.
But they had a bunch of kids too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she's pumped out 5 kids, hasn't she?
Yeah, something like that.
Tiger, you should be ashamed of your motherfucking self. Tiger Woods, you should be ashamed of your motherfucking self. Did you find Jesus? Is that what it was? Did he find Jesus and now wants to repent? Is that what it is? Tiger, you should be ashamed of your motherfucking self. You worth about $10 billion. You better go find you a new snow bunny that's not attached who has had 5 kids, homie. Go find you up. There's all kind of them out here. You got $10 billion. You used to buy fucking $10,000 an hour hose. Why would you now settle? This shit is, do you guys understand? Why would you settle? Why the hell would you now settle at 49? He's my age, by the way. We all graduated same year, and he's from 5 minutes from me, so we all had to play each other in high school when I played golf. He went to Western High School right here in Cypress, California. Why would you fucking settle at 49, damn near 50? Caleb, shut the fuck up. You simp ass. You defend everybody. You and Smitty should do a show together. Caleb McLean, you simp ass. You motherfucking defend everybody. Motherfucker, start being real with your motherfucking self. This guy's worth $10 billion and he's taking on another motherfucker's hose. 5 kids. Get the fuck out of here. You know what's going to happen? She's going to divorce him. By the way, she's a Trump. She's going to divorce his ass and get Tiger's money to raise the 5 kids that ain't even his. Holy shit, man. We got a lot going on, man. I'll give you a little update real quick. So I had a great weekend on the boat, on the yacht. And I love all the dick riders who come at me. That is not a yacht. Well, it says it on the boat. Inside, yacht certification. Inside what you call a boat, it says yacht. So anyway, 75, 76 all weekend long. I took the thing down towards Newport because there's a sighting. There's a rumor that there's great white sharks out here and some whales. So I drove down past Huntington. So let me give you a little thing. So anyone knows nautical geometry in the chat? Let me know. Long Beach to Huntington Beach Pier on a 9,500-pound vessel, the yacht that I have, 2 500 Merc cruisers. I got from Long Beach to the Huntington Beach Pier in 13 minutes. You guys do the math. Tell me how fast I was going. It was moving, by the way. So I got from Long Beach to Huntington in 13 minutes. Then, look at that. Whoo, that motherfucker's... I look kind of good, too. God damn, no wonder the hose is on me. So I was going basically about 52 miles an hour. Knots, whatever you want to call it. 46 knots is roughly about right. So good shot. Good job. So anyway, I get to Huntington, and then I said, let's go. We're going to go in between the Huntington Beach Pier and the Newport Pier. And that's where they've been seeing the whales and the great white shark. You Usually we see dolphins and seals. There wasn't a fucking thing in the water. You know why? You probably didn't see dolphins and seals because there probably is a shark out there, and the dolphins know. And the dolphins were nowhere to be found. We didn't see a fucking thing. We didn't see a shark. We didn't see a whale. We didn't see shit. That same trip would have took at least 30 minutes, Vince. It would have took at least 30, 45 minutes in a car. In a car, at least 30, 45 minutes. On the yacht, 13 minutes. Love the water, man. I could get to places so goddamn fast. Now, yesterday was a little rolly out there. It was a little rolly. But, Bailey, I got to jump right into BPS right out the gate because while I'm out there, the most BPS possible thing happened to me. And I'm sitting out there having a few palomas, a couple sticks, chilling. And I'm like, damn. Whale watching is WPS, but I wasn't out there to whale watch. Somebody wanted to see some whales, so I showed them the whales. But I'm rolling around, man. The yacht, we're just chilling. We finally anchor up, and the biggest BPS thing I've ever seen in my lifetime pulled up, and it's unbelievable, man. Yes, that's real. That is real. It happened. And that is the biggest BPS moment of my life. Right fucking there. I'm sitting there, anchored up, and this motherfucker pulls up. This motherfucker pulls up on basically a jet ski with a fucking framed, I don't know. You know, we know what it is. It's pretty much a jet ski with a fucking frame, fake wheels, and he pulled up, and everybody thought that was real shit. I sent it immediately to Smitty, and Smitty said that was hard as fuck. Hell yeah, I love it. Bailey, fact or cap?
Smitty said he liked it for the record. He's telling the truth.
Fact. Smitty thought it was hard as fuck. And I said, Smitty, you would be on the water, huh? You would love the water if you were in that motherfucker, huh? Exactly. Smitty loved it. It was hard as fuck to him. And BPS at its finest. Had to show it. Vincent, I saw your comment on Instagram, Vincent. That's as BPS as it fucking gets. Smitty, the micro thinker, will be back tomorrow. He'll be back tomorrow. He took his wifey birthday out to New York City, I believe. So shout out to my co-host extraordinaire. He'll be back on tomorrow. But Sean King fills in today. He'll be on. And we get to talk to Al Bernstein, man. As he just posted a tweet, the passing of George Foreman has been a significant event in sports and indeed in American culture. He is booked on 6 shows between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. to talk about this. This has been hard to process for those of us who counted him a friend. I guess all those shows will help me talk it through. So we get him first, man. So we're blessed to have Al Bernstein on, possibly have Jim Lampley on tomorrow. So shout out to Al Bernstein, who pops on here in about 2 hours to talk about the passing of George Foreman. Can't believe he passed. Man, you saw my intro. You know how I feel about it. It is what it is, but let's dive into something, man, that's really irked me. Basically, I could probably do a fucking rant about it, and I can't wait to talk to Josh Pastner about it in about an hour, under an hour. But John Calipari addresses the media after a big, huge win against the rivalry, Paisano, coaching, legend that both respect each other, and they go out and beat Rick Pitino in the St. John. And he has to find out that the portal opens today. as he prepares for the fucking Sweet 16. You heard me right. The portal opened today. As he gets to prepare his team for the Sweet 16, he's got to do a fucking, what do y'all call it? Wellness check on his fucking roster to make sure that all these motherfucking pussies don't want to enter the portal and leave. Take a listen to what Cal had to say.
And that's maybe when does it open, the portal? When? This Monday?
Don't look at me.
Welcome to my world. So Monday, we're really preparing for a game, and we're having individual meetings about, are you coming back, or what do you, if they put their name in the portal, they probably don't have an option to come back. But, it's, you care about the kids. At the end of the year, it's all about them. Whatever they choose. You want to go pro, want to come back, you want to go somewhere else, it's their choice. And I've always been that way, but it's getting harder to be that way.
Let's keep it real fucking funky and honest here. Like, this is a clown show joke. This is a joke. Like, seriously, this is an absolute mockery. Why? Please let me know. This has been a great, well thought out process, NCAA, non-caring assholes of America. You've done such a great fucking bang up job with this portal thing, opening it right as the college football playoff starts. A year ago, Texas loses a backup quarterback who fucking helped them win 4 games. He enters the portal as the Texas Longhorns are in the college football playoff Final Four. And you guys fucking allow a portal to open. Then we get into fucking college hoops. During the tournament, you allow the portal to open. And not only that, but I don't know how many people out there really think about how this thing moves. What else is going on in college right now? Anyone know? Anyone else know what usually happens during March Madness in college across America? What are the normal student body people doing right now? Where are they at? You know? Oh, they're in Texas at one of the famous beaches doing what? Oh, spring break. They're in Cabo. They're in fucking where? This is spring break, and you allowed the portal to open in college basketball during March Madness. Be fucking real. Can we please be honest here? Can you really fucking tell me why you would really open the portal when half of the college campuses are on fucking South Padre Island or in fucking Honolulu or fucking Miami? Watts Towers. Visiting the Watts Towers. Seriously, why the fuck would you open the portal right now during the college basketball tournament when the Sweet 16 is about to open up? I mean, goddamn, homie. Are you serious? Riddle me this. McNeese State beats Clemson. They go down and get their ass whooped versus Purdue. And this motherfucker enters the portal 13 minutes after the fucking buzzer sounds. 13 minutes after the buzzer sounds. The team that I picked, sorry, not McNeese, Vanderbilt. The team I picked to go to the Final Four, Vanderbilt, my dark horse, 10 seed, becomes a portal entry 13 minutes, homie, after the buzzer sounded. How is this even fucking legal? How is it legal? Don't tell me you're about the love of hoop, dog. Don't tell me, homie, that you love basketball. Stop telling me that you guys love basketball. And stop telling me NIL is name, image, and likeness. It's fucking pay to play, homie. And I told you 4 years ago when I started my show, when the NIL started, I said, you're making a huge mistake by not making it simply about name, image, and likeness, which it was intended to do. Hey, this motherfucker sells more jerseys than you. Guess what? kudos to him. He deserves it, right? He's the Johnny Manziel of college football. He should have the most jersey sales. There's only one of those guys every year. But nah, you made it about pay for play. So it ain't about no jersey sales. It ain't about no fucking name, image, and likeness. This is a mockery. Now you got all these average Joes, 2 and 3 stars, thinking they're going to get paid the same as the 5-star. You made it all about chasing the bag. Frank Martin said it Friday. We've had Calipari. We've had Jim Herrig. We've had Bobby Crimmins. We've had so many legendary coaches talking about this is way more important than playing the game. And no one sees a problem with this. You don't think that kid right there, let's just cut to brass tacks here. Let's be fucking completely honest here. There is nowhere in America or in this world or in athletics or in business or in school or in education. Shout out to Trump for eliminating Department of Education, the most criminal network on planet Earth. I can dive into the Department of Education like a motherfucking professional. Anytime anyone needs any questions answered, let me know. I know more about the Department of Education crooked ass than anyone. But I'll dive into that on another show. You're telling me that this kid entered the portal 13 minutes after they lose, and it ain't about chasing a bag? But furthermore, let's dive into a little bit more brass tacks here. So you're telling me that 10 seed Vanderbilt, who I picked to go a little ways away. That's why I told you I don't bet on college athletics anymore, because these players aren't about the team or the team name that's on the front of their jersey. They're about the team name that's on the back of the jersey, which is who? Their last name, their self. That's all they give a fuck about. Team Johnny, Team Freddie. It ain't Vanderbilt. It ain't Kentucky. It ain't Arkansas. It ain't St. John's. This motherfucker entered the portal 13 minutes after they lost. What does that tell you about his investment in that team called Vanderbilt? Let's just keep it funky. What is the investment this bitch-made motherfucker had in his team 13 minutes after they lose? Seriously, let's be honest. 13 minutes, they lose, boom, I'm in the portal. My coach, the head coach, has to find out 13 minutes after they lose. Oh, shit. One of my best players is in the portal already? We just lost. I haven't even finished my fucking exit meeting with my team on why we lost. Come on, man. Stop. And please, let me see all the people in defense of this kid. Come on. Let me hear it. Let me hear all you, and anyone defending them has to be from age 21 to 23. Because there ain't nobody after that defending this motherfucker. So everybody in the chat will show me, whoever defends him will show me how young you are when you defend this motherfucker. What's he throwing up, by the way? Is that the V? What's he throwing up? Is that a Vanderbilt sign or what? I'm tripping on that. Is that a money sign? Like pay me? Is that what's this mean now, Bailey? Pay me more? Pay me more? Is that what this fucking means now? Pay me more? Give me more? What are these? What's this mean, homie? All about money? What do these three things mean, homie? I'm gonna be honest. Soft as fuck? Is that what it really means, motherfucker? That's what I think it means. I am pussy? Is that what these three things mean, homie? I'm going to be honest, dog. This is some, the NCAA has created grown men, legendary men, Mike Krzyzewski, Nick Saban, the Frank Martins of the world, the guys that we now see talking about it. And I love that Cal said in that soundbite, Cal said something very, very important. He said, well, if they enter the portal, they probably won't have a choice. Because he's old school, and if you're going to enter the portal, that means you don't want to be here. So guess what? You're not coming back here once you enter that portal. Once you cross over that threshold, there ain't no 1 foot in, 1 foot out type of scenario here. And let's just be honest. When this is basically the equivalent of a kid leaving after the college football playoff, and if we're going to equate football and basketball, college football playoff starts, and these kids say we're opting out because they started opting out of the bowl game. Then they're going to start opting out of the playoff, as I said they would. And now these kids are going to start opting out of tournament games for the NBA draft. I'm just telling you, that's next. This is the equivalent, though, 13 minutes after you lose. That tells me that you're out there just going through the motions any fucking way. And if we lose, I'm good. If we win, all right, I'm good. I'll stay another week. What is the true buy-in? How does a coach address his players in a locker room setting in a very, very meaningful space? The NCAA tournament, March Madness, in the locker room, and try to get buy-in. Man, let's go. We're in the Sweet 16. We can make it. Blah, 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 blah. This motherfucker's already thinking about a team that offered him a bag of money to go somewhere else so he could give a fuck less about the name on the front of his jersey, Vanderbilt. He could give a fuck less about his teammates, homie. How do you practice with each other? How do you play with each other? How do you where is the blood, sweat, and tears? Creating some sort of fucking bond and a culture. It don't exist. Stop. It don't exist, homie. And stop. Does this kid... So let me ask you something. For anybody out there defending it and then come out here and tell me, oh, coach, they're grown men. They can do what they want. Well, when they're grown men, first of all, they get paid. When you get paid, you show up to work. When you show up to work, you clock in. When you clock in, you're dependent on. When you're dependent on, you are now accountable. When you're accountable, guess what? You now owe that place that pays you a salary to work for them. These cats are getting paid a salary to go to that school. So let me break this down. Here's what I want to break down. You're telling me, all the defenders of the universe out here, who's going to say, well, coach, he didn't play, or, well, coach, let me ask you something. Please stop saying fucking student athletes. Please. Please stop saying student athlete. Please. Stop saying student athlete. Okay? Latrell, let me ask you guys out there in the chat. So in 12 minutes, okay, let's cut this down. In 12 minutes, I looked at my front of my jersey. I saw Vanderbilt. We lost. And then on the 13th minute, I said, fuck, I want to get a degree from LSU now. I'm leaving Vanderbilt. And on the 12th minute, I'm going to be a LSU Tiger, and that's where I want to earn my degree because I know they have a better electrician teacher there that teaches nothing but electricity to the fine young adults of this world. I want to go be an electrician, and the best teacher in the world is at LSU. I'm entering the portal. You guys are a fucking joke, homie. You guys are a joke. You guys are an absolute mockery if you really, truly think that that's true. That anyone that defends this, by the way, is why we have such a problem right now. Why college hoops are horrible. Why I don't remember college women having so many games. Homie, Arkansas State, ladies, congratulations on making the tournament. You got beat by 90. Do you realize, do you understand that you were on national TV getting absolute fucking mud stomped? And is that what your reward was? That's your reward? Come on, man. My point is college athletics have become horrible. They've become so hard to watch for the real sports fanatic out here. Women's college basketball is horrific, except for the top, really, 8 teams? Let's just put 12 of them motherfuckers in. Let's be honest and let them go at it. It'd be unbelievable women's hoops. But I got to watch UConn beat fucking Arkansas State by 90. I got to watch fucking USC allow 25 points in the whole game. 25 points. Duke allows 25 points. I got to watch San Diego State girls get beat by LSU by a fucking 100. I mean, seriously. Come on, man. Stop it. That's not good for fucking sports. If you guys think that's really good, you're absolutely a joke. It's good. It's good, coach. They made it. They won their conference tournament. I don't watch, Lodi, you fucking moron. I don't watch. I saw the scores. You fucking idiot. You think I want to watch San Diego State get beat by LSU by 100? Women's that don't even dunk? I don't watch anything. I don't even watch fucking a lot of football no more. That's my point of this whole thing. The fucking college athletics have become so watered down and bad because of the shit we just mentioned. Guess what? Guess who else entered the portal, everyone? Shaka Khan, or whatever the fuck his name is. This motherfucker entered the portal. The combination of DJ Khaled and fucking Drake. That's who this fucking guy is. He enters the portal, and he's going to follow the coach. Can we just say a joke is a joke, and the gig is up? Let's just call it what it is. The gig is up, dog. Let's just say it's a joke. We've been fucking with you guys. Hey, guys, we've been fucking around with you. We just tried it out for a few years. We're fucking with you. This guy getting $100K. This cat's getting $100,000, homie, to go follow his coach. Look at this fucking wobble body. Looks like a fucking fat bumblebee walking around pocketing $100K to fucking do what? Wear fucking radio out? Does anyone understand the mockery of this? Seriously. Thank you, Alan. Alan in the chat. Thank you for saying exactly what I was about to say. Thank you. Thank you for saying exactly what I was going to say. This is an absolute fucking slap in the face of anybody who works at going to school to get a fucking education and a degree. And all the workers that work there. Do you think the fucking janitor at McNeese State makes 100 large? But Amir Kali Kalalala can hang a fucking radio around his neck and make 100K NIL money? Are you fucking shitting me? Are you fucking shitting me? This is an absolute mockery. And you think this is NIL? This is what NIL was made for. Now, can we all agree that this is a mockery? This kid earned an NIL bag? Seriously. And we got, by the way, let's go down the list here at McNeese State. Do you think players 8, 9, 10, 11 are getting 100K NIL bag? From the 6th roster spot on, do you think they're even close? I would argue that the top 5 aren't even all getting $100,000. Do you think 6 through 12 is getting 100K that sit on the roster, sit on that bench to play for that team? And then I got to go over here and look at Amir wearing a fucking radio around his neck, and he gets 100K, and then he gets to go with this coach and follow him and get another bag? They are employees. They are now grown, and now stop saying they're 17. I love how you both use, they're just kids, JB. And then when they get cussed out, I'm a grown-ass man. Don't talk to me like that. I love how you motherfuckers say that shit. I love how you motherfuckers actually say that shit. I want to be honest with you guys. The audacity of people out here in the world. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to stay mostly on social media, but I'm going to even say some of you in the chat and the people out here who think this way. The audacity of a lot of you out here who blame me for reacting the way I do to half of you and half of everybody on social media. The audacity of all you out there who blame me how I react. What do you mean the audacity of who they blame? You motherfuckers have the gall and the audacity blows my fucking mind on some of you out here. And a lot of you motherfuckers will talk shit to me about my reaction to your post, to your comments. The audacity of you talking about me, and then you're quick to cancel a motherfucker and say, did you see JB's comment about that made-up human who walked in the girl's bathroom and whipped out his dick and took a piss? Did you see JB's comment when the little 7-year-old was in there and was like, Mommy, what is that? And then the mom covers her eyes and walks her out of the bathroom? And then you're trying to cancel me because I drugged that weirdo fuck out of the bathroom? Which I just had to do the other day, by the way. Lucky that wasn't on film. But here's the audacity. This is the part I want to get to. You're all mad at me. But you motherfuckers don't want to talk about the motherfuckers, the shit that you guys say to get me to react that way. You just skip right over the fact on what you said to get me to react. You don't talk about that ever. The audacity of it, dog. The social media audacity blows my mind. You motherfuckers think that you can say any and everything, but when I react to it, I'm the criminal. I should be canceled. Did you see what JB said about my gay brother who puts lipstick on and thinks he should play in females' volleyball matches? So I'm the bad guy, though. The audacity of you motherfuckers, seriously, to be mad at me about how I react to what the fuck you said blows my mind. It really does. I can't even understand. I can't get it. You guys forget what you said for me to react that way. You don't even discuss it at all. I'm serious. It's absolutely gives me secondhand embarrassment, and it's because of this that has protected you fucking soft pussies for this long. And you wonder why our kids are fat wobble bodies who can really just go on a fast for up to 2 to 3 years and not ever eat or drink anything and be fine. That's what most of you fucks are. And you all go. Here's a true story, and we're going to go to commercial break before Shaun King joins us. My buddy sold his gym the other day. He is a staple of the community, had one of the biggest, most famous, real hood gyms. Motherfuckers go in there, really pump, hard free weights, by the way. Still free weights, not this fucking mechanical cable bullshit. Free weights, go in here to work out. You really go in there to do about your business. He sold it, dog, after being there 41 years. You know why? He said it's a mockery. It's a joke. You know why? Because the females go in there in yoga pants just to take videos of them motherfucking self, and then they want to catch the guy looking at their asshole out of their fucking yoga pants. And when you look at them, then the girl makes a huge fucking scene. Why are you looking at me? And then gets mad about it. And then there's guys in here who are fighting over the bitch in the yoga pants with their asshole out, and then want to talk about the whole thing at their gym, and no one's in there even working out. He said, dog, no one even comes to work out no more. These motherfuckers are in here filming each other in yoga pants for an Instagram video. And here's the reason why he sold it. The month-to-month memberships are simply that. They're month-to-month. Simply for, and he gave me a whole rundown. Motherfuckers to come in, film themselves. They pay the 1 month fee. They come in for about 5 or 6 times during the month, work out, film their motherfucking self, and then they don't re-up the membership, and that's it. Because he's an inner city gym guy. He's not on a 24-hour fitness plan. He's a month-to-month guy. He's lived that way for 41 years at a business that's a staple in the hood, and everyone that I grew up with loved going there. And now the month-to-month memberships aren't revolving and aren't re-upping because these motherfuckers are in here simply for one thing: clout chasing, content, bullshit creators, and out here doing these fucking fake videos. And by the way, he said they're all fucking wobble bodies. They're horribly in shape, and the girls are just skinny-ass little broads that come in there. They're already in shape. They don't need the gym. They need the gym as the backdrop for their TikTok videos, homie. That's how sad of a fucking place we're in right now. That's real shit. That's true. And that's a damn shame. He's like, I can't be a part of this shit. I'm done. And he sold it to somebody, and I think they're going to chop it down and build a huge, big gym on it. Something straight out of fucking Global Gym or whatever, dodgeball, homie. Like, this motherfucker's taking this place. I mean, I'm just telling you, dog, it's sickening to see. And that's what we got. I might open up a wobble body fucking diet water fitness center. That's what I might do. We have the most gyms in the world and the most vitamin shops, and we're the most obese country on the planet. Make it make sense, dog. I don't work out, truth teller Maxwell. Why did anything I had to say anything about me working out? Truth teller, tell me how I just talked about anything that I said that makes me work out. Why the fuck do you think I work out? I don't work out at all. I work out on top of your fucking girl. That's what I do. I do that. By the way, fucking your girl burns more calories than going to the gym with the wobble bodies to film. Just so we're clear. So hit your girl up and ask her how she like this dick. We'll see you in about 4 minutes with Shaun King. Peace.
Up in the Baltimore Ravens land, free agent QB Cooper Rush signing a deal. Really good backup, probably one of the best backups in the league. JB made a prediction earlier today.
JB's brainwashed you too, huh?
He made a prediction earlier today, man. I don't know if you heard it, saying that he predicts that Cooper Rush will end up being the starter at the end of the season next year, and he will lead the Ravens to the playoffs and win a playoff game as the starter. What's your take? Do you agree, disagree? What's your overall feel on Cooper Rush?
First of all, why is that the take, homie? That's not the take.
Let him go in.
What do you mean it's not the take? What do you mean that's not the take? So what's the real take then? Why is Schmitty's fucking throwing you a lob that's not really your what? So tell me what the real
factor cap, Jason. Did you say that? Factor cap.
It's fact. It is a take.
Okay, so you actually, if Lamar gets hurt, Cooper Rush is a pretty good backup, and yeah, they could win. Their defense is awesome. They have a great running game. Why couldn't they win a playoff game with him too? Like, it's not a knock on Lamar if he's hurt.
Thank you.
Are you saying that he's going to replace Lamar Jackson? No, that's not happening. But if Lamar's banged up and he can't play, then yeah, that's why you go get a backup that can win you games. Like what? Schmitty, what is wrong with you? Are you having an aneurysm or something? I'm just making total sense. What's wrong?
Let's say it's about every starter and quarterback then. Like, who's the Chiefs' backup quarterback?
Hold on. I'm saying if Lamar Jackson gets hurt, don't you want a good backup?
Of course. No, I'm not doing this. I'm not shaking my head at you, man. I'm doing that at JB.
He's mad at me, man.
What the fuck, man? All I said was if Lamar gets hurt, then yeah, they could win. They've got fucking Jess Hostetler won a goddamn Super Bowl, and fucking Nick Foles won a Super Bowl and shit. They're all backups. What the fuck, dog?
You're right. Gardner Minshew.
Sometimes you need a good backup if your main guy gets hurt. I don't understand why it's
I'm just saying
controversial.
that's just a weird take, though. Not from you. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about JB. So we showed the news that Cooper Rush signed with the Ravens, and your first thing that comes to your mind is, you know what? I predict this. Cooper Rush is gonna come in. He's gonna find a way to start, and he's gonna win the playoff game. Like damn, like that's your prediction. We never make predictions about a backup quarterback. We never do that. Like that's not a thing that you just do. And to predict that is predicting that Lamar will get hurt then. So why are we predicting, not you, Matt, talking about JB, why will we predict that a starting quarterback, Lamar Jackson, why were you predicting he's going to get hurt? We understand it's a part of football, but we don't do that for no other.
Because he runs around a lot and gets hit all the time.
But he don't get hurt a lot, though. That's not a thing with Lamar.
Well, then
it's like a myth that we say that
get
because
hurt.
he runs. But he doesn't get hurt. The time he's got hurt, it was in the pocket. It was in the backfield.
Again, I don't understand why you're so fired up about them signing a backup.
Hey, Smitty, let me ask you. I gotta ask Smitty a question. I gotta go back.
JB, you know what you're doing. Stop trying to be a smart ass.
Smitty mad at me, Matt.
That's why you was covering your face when I first brought it. You was like this.
Hey, Matt, I gotta ask Smitty a question though.
I hate
hey, Matt, we were talking
because he know it now, Matt. Because you don't be seeing the JB know what the fuck he be doing.
Yes.
He's a troll. He's a
Thank
troll.
you.
Go ahead.
I'm not a troll at all. We talked about this guy in Dallas, Matt, and Smitty absolutely hated him. Smitty thought he was the worst backup and fucking. Now all of a sudden he's in Baltimore. He's the best backup in the history of the NFL. That's funny to me. He's the best backup in the history of the NFL. He was horrible for Dak Prescott, though.
Hold on. I hated Cooper Rush, a guy from the MAC, Central Michigan, who I played against in college. I hated Cooper Rush.
That's the rumor.
I hated him. That's what I said on the show. I would love to find that clip. Only thing I said is that he wasn't better.
I got it.
Saying he's not better than Dak is not hate, homie.
We got it, homie.
I got it.
This show's insane.
We got it, homie. I'm just saying.
I hate the production.
Fucking idiots, dude.
You know what? You know what, Matt? I'm glad though, because Smitty is proving that the Lamar sexuals out there trump white and black, because he was white in Dallas and he was horrible. Now he's the same white in Baltimore, and this motherfucker is ready to take over the reins.
I'm so confused on. I thought you loved Cooper Rush.
I do love him.
Yeah, I know. That's okay. Good. Then that's.
He would be one of my. He'd be one of my whites. He'd be one of my whites when we do the race. When we pick our race team this year, because the whites are going to dominate the game this year. When we do. Yeah, we are back in the building. Shaun King is on his way in to join me for the next 2 hours on the realest show on Planet ERF. Go copy with some gear, CoachJBStore.com. Ooh, we got the fire new trucker hats. I got the Save Girls sports shirts, beanies, hats, bucket hats, you name it. CoachJBStore.com. Head on over there today. A lot going on. March Madness, of course, is a huge talked about I guess, event. I was talking to some folks over the weekend, and I'm going to ask Josh Pastner this here in about 20 minutes. Is college hoops, the tournament, the hardest to win of all the championships? I think Shaun King asked Jim Herrick that question. We were talking about it. Is it harder than college football playoff? Right now, I would say it is, definitely. Even though they're both one-game eliminations. They argued the NBA finals. I don't agree with that one. And then the Super Bowl, obviously, in the conversation. And then a lot of people don't talk about the World Series. Anybody's ball game, in my opinion. Anybody can win in the World Series. Getting there, I mean, obviously going through the playoffs. And then NHL is obviously the other big sport. I don't know. I don't know. March Madness is hard because it's a one-game elimination. But Shaun King addressed that. He asked, I think, Jim Herrick that. We had a great long conversation, some barbershop banter over the weekend on the yacht. A lot of interesting takes, especially now in this era. So, speaking of Shaun King, though, our main man, he's going to co-host with me for the next 2 hours as we have Josh Pastner on, former Georgia Tech Memphis head coach, Arizona Wildcat player, and the legendary Al Bernstein to talk about the passing of George Foreman. He'll be on, and Shaun King's a boxing guy as well. Tomorrow we may have Jim Lampley on with Steve Kim, so we might have two great boxing analysts who actually covered George Foreman in his prime on this show. The realest show on planet Earth brings in our main man. Welcome him in like we only know how, Bailey. Shaun, what up?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Man, chilling. You good? It's Merciless Monday. Taking no mercy, Shaun.
Good, baby.
I was on the yacht.
I saw you on the yacht, baby.
Yeah,
I saw my boy Ruben.
I thought you pulled up. Have you seen it?
No.
I thought you pulled up, homie, on me. And it was a trip because it was definitely BPS.
Yeah, I know there's some bullshit. Come on, let's see it.
Nah.
Oh. What is that? A jet ski or something?
I think so, dog. Dog, I'm gonna be honest. This motherfucker, he was in that thing, and he had the rag wiping his head like he was at the club, Shaun, back in the 90s. He was over there wiping his hair with the white rag or with the white little towel. He wiping his head like he got all kind of girls to just pull up on. He really out there like he at the parking lot pimping.
Dude, if that thing flip over, he might drown. It's be hard to get from under that.
Got to be dangerous. I don't know how it's approved, but it wasn't rough out there just sitting. But I was moving about 55. We went from Huntington Beach. We didn't go that way with you, but about 20 miles. I got there in about it's about 10 miles. I got there in about 12 minutes. So we were moving. That right there, though.
The weather was great this weekend. At least in Vegas, it was. It was beautiful. About time.
Yeah. Would you rock that? Would you roll that car on there on the water?
Are you crazy?
Smitty said it. Smitty said it's hard as hell. He said that shit hard as hell. So,
man, that looked like something that could kill you. If that thing flip over,
and it was, I think it's a jet ski because he went out of there and he was moving. He moved out of there like, whoa. Oh man.
You probably got a seatbelt on in there, so I ain't getting in that. No.
And there's great whites out there. Apparently, there's great white rumors and whales being seen. So we took the yacht about 20 minutes away to see if we could see them. We didn't see nothing. But
I don't care if it was nurse sharks out there. I ain't getting in the water. You ain't got to elevate the great white for me to stay on the boat.
Get you in. We'll get you in the water in the summer. All right, let's dive into it, man. We got there's a lot going on. We got Josh Pastner, former Georgia Tech head coach, Memphis head coach, Arizona Wildcat player, played with Gilbert Arenas on some great rosters in Arizona for Luke Olson, great college coach who passed away not too long ago. He's going to join us here in about 15, and then the great Al Bernstein. Shaun, perfect guest to have on with me to talk some boxing as George Foreman has passed away. Your thoughts real quick on George. I was a huge fan. He was one of my favorites of all time. Just the story alone, where he came from, what he did. And then obviously making $1 billion plus on something that's not even boxing related as he made the Foreman grill. Got to give it to him, man. I got to give it to the dude. We lost a great one right here.
Yeah, I think he when we watch sports, like you have like your great players, but then you have like your iconic figures. And Foreman was an icon. You know, he was one of those, you know, talents that was elite at what he did, but he transcended the sport, probably got it even bigger, you know, pro boxing. You know, he gave us the great comeback knockout of Michael Moore, even though it looked like he was getting beat to a pulp. Like, so, I mean, hell of a career. You know, what's crazy is Larry Holmes has outlived George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, you know, and Larry was like kind of at the end of their generation, but kind of after it. It's just weird. But RIP to George Foreman. Prayers go out to the family. One of the real and I want to say this because of the Shaqs of the world and the George Foremans of the world, people forget how kind of uncomfortable people used to be around large athletes. Like I used to hear about how, and I know it was probably like some of his choices, but people didn't really like Kareem. Like you think about some of the bigger athletes that we've had.
Protester.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of them are protesters. Look at OJ, Kareem, Muhammad Ali, Foreman. I mean,
Foreman was like
Jim Brown, coach. Jim Brown.
Yeah. Foreman was one of the first like bigger athletes to really be beloved and embraced. And it probably happened after boxing, you know, but also one of the greatest events in sports history. Don King, the greatest promoter in sports history. Don King took Muhammad Ali and George Foreman all the way to Zaire, Africa, and came up with the Rumble in the Jungle.
Yeah.
One of the greatest events in sports history.
You know where George Foreman made a lot of, probably a majority of the $1 billion he made on the Foreman Grill? College dorm rooms, because it was a smokeless product that was reinvented the wheel, and the college kids in dorm rooms couldn't have anything that smoked. They couldn't cook with anything that fire alarm set off. And the Foreman Grill went through college campuses like wildfire. He made so much money from the college kid, probably their Pell Grant and their financial aid, because they didn't have NIL at that time. So shout out to Foreman. Hey, Shaun, I've been on this horse, man, for a while. Before we get into some topics, Josh will join us, former Georgia Tech head coach. I wanted to bring this up with him. His rival school, Georgia. You and I brought this up the other day with Kirby Smart. We've had these kids just continue to get arrested. And we said, man, driving these cars, and you see our thumbnail, man. Grand Theft Auto, UGA is the thumbnail. Take a look at this video, man.
I just stopped Dylan Fairchild.
So there's a song, obviously, with it. We ain't going to play, but these are the arrests for, look at what they're for. DUI or speeding or some sort of reckless driving. Dog, I've been talking about this for 4 years. Before it even started, Shaun, I said, why are you giving car keys to Lamborghinis when these cats haven't even driven a Prius yet? But what do I know, Shaun? Look at this shit right here. But what do I know? You know how many people sent me a DM saying, damn, JB, you've been saying this for some time. I'm not here to pat myself on the back because it's sad that we got to see a lot of these brothers who get paid some money finally to say, man, we made it. And now no one's out here telling them. They don't have the old white crusty JB telling these motherfuckers, stop doing stupid shit. And I'm sure that you made a point, Shaun. I'm sure Kirby Smart has done every interventional tactic possible, because I know Kirby enough to know that he's going to not just take this. He's going to do something about it. And they're still not doing anything. It's not changing it, because the money's all the root of all evil, Shaun. Money is going to trump any amount of words you tell me. Unless you're my daddy, belt to ass, I don't know anything else that's going to change these kids' mindsets. And where are the fucking parents to these motherfuckers? It's the question I got to ask, man. Like, fuck Coach Smart. Kirby Smart can only do so much. What are your parents doing about these kids, about these motherfuckers getting this money? I don't know, man.
This is so absurd. This may be a Popo issue. I would like to see how many non-scholarship athletes get convicted of reckless driving or speeding in this same area? Because there's no way in hell, like year after year, you're getting 6, 7 kids busted for the same thing. You're talking about it. You're telling them don't speed. Like, come on. Everybody got like that one speed trap in their city where they know they need to slow their ass down. Like, this might be how the police department generate revenue. Like, if you're going 36 and a 35, like they pull you over. Like, this can't be. It's just too many different people on that clip.
I don't know. So what are you saying?
This is a po-po racket, man. This is a racket. Like, if you're doing 22 in the 20-mile-per-hour zone, like, come on, JB, come on, man. It's like 15, 16 guys in like a 2-3 year window on there. Like, come on.
I think it's an issue. These motherfuckers are reckless driving, drunk. Yeah, it ain't no cop problem if you drunk, Shaun, driving.
You're right, but DUI was only on like 2 of those. It wasn't a bunch of them.
I mean, how many motherfuckers got to die though? How many cats have died though?
Now that's what I'm saying. So even after that incident, you mean there were 9 more clowns that decided to do the same thing?
More than 9. And it ain't just Georgia. It ain't just Georgia. But the cops are saying, hey, because here's the thing I'm gonna ask. I gotta ask. You don't think Kirby's gotten with the local PD? As you know,
absolutely.
I used to do this. You know that.
On his staff, whose job it is. Yeah.
You go get with the PD and say, hey man, let me know first if something cracks off. Please help. You know, because they don't want no black eye on the football team in Athens, like a place like Athens, which is not a very huge place. The sheriff of my town in Independence didn't want a black eye on that town, so they'd come to me and say, hey coach, here's what happened, blah blah blah. And I was never going to save my players in an instance that they did something like criminal, but we were going to make sure we helped out the best way possible. If there was a way to save face, we were going to do it. And then they knew I'd handle it internally if it wasn't something of a huge, criminal manner. If it was something that I could suspend a player for or run a player for or gut his ass, then they were all for it. But if it was something like this, which I never had, luckily, DUIs and all this shit, I also didn't have NIL money going around, Shaun, and motherfuckers giving them Hellcats. So I'm not going to say that wouldn't have happened either. I don't know. I'm sure if you gave me money at 18 years old to get a Hellcat, I'm sure I probably would have did something dumb. I'm gonna be honest. But damn, like it's getting out of hand now, though.
Now, you've been around me long enough. You know when it comes to players, I'm not for the larceny. I'm not for the flim-flammery, the skullduggery, none of the foolishness that they come up with. But again, this just seems strange because I know Kirby and I know the amount of time he's had to put into this specific thing. And like none of these are felony driving or reckless, like none. Outside of the crash, like, I mean, what is reckless driving in Athens? Is it changing lanes without a blinker? Like, I mean, come on.
I think, Shaun, I think LSU's had multiple situations.
Yeah, I saw LSU had a couple crashes.
I'm just saying, it ain't just Georgia. I'm not even going to try to front and act like this is just Georgia. This is an issue, man. And Shaun, to your point, let's talk about the small schools out here who no one knows about that does have the cops in their pocket. Let's talk about a small place like, obviously the school in these towns are bigger than the towns themselves. Ohio State is a much bigger talk than Columbus, Ohio is as the town. Right. So if Ohio State player gets cracked, can they cover that up? I don't know. I don't know. But like, think about the towns that a lot of these schools are in, Shaun. For the most part, they're in some smaller towns. Unless you're in a Tulane or somewhere in a major metropolitan area, a lot of these guys are in small-ass towns. How much of this shit is being covered up? We don't know. So,
it can't be much of it, based on all them mug shots we just saw. And by the way, in the chat, man, look, don't catch these paws. It's a couple of y'all talking real reckless this morning, and I'm on that. I got me a good night's sleep. Duke men's basketball kicked ass yesterday. I'm feeling bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Don't make Unc put the paws on you.
Hey, real quick, a few minutes before Josh joins us, what's your take on the Giants signing Jameis Winston? And is the signing a 2-year deal for a 2-year starting role, or is this because we're going to draft a rookie and compete?
I'm still breaking this move down. You know how I feel about Jameis Winston. And to those of you in the chat that I think his name's Marcus or something that keep talking that craziness. All right. I'm bumping to you one day, boss. I thought Pittsburgh was the perfect fit. Why Pittsburgh wouldn't go after Jameis, I don't know. Here's my concerns with the Giants. I didn't think Aaron Rodgers was going to have success in New York. I didn't think Shedeur Sanders, if taking 3, was going to have success in New York. As much as I believe in Jameis, I don't know that I believe Jameis is going to have success in New York. This isn't a lineup that's overloaded with an abundance of elite skill players. They got Malik Neighbors and pretty much nothing at pass catcher. They've got a young running back in Tyron Tracy that kind of got to figure it out in year 2 so you don't have a sophomore slump. They got a average on their best day offensive line. And they're in a division with Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, and Dak Prescott, with Dak probably being the last of those 3. So, I wanted James to go to something that was more sound, more structured, heading in a better direction. I mean, he's got a lame duck staff, you would think. I mean, if Daboll and Shaun don't make the playoffs, when you assume they're probably gone. So I don't love the situation, but I love the quarterback. And I know Jameis will go in there and do a great job of trying to get everybody headed in the right direction. But for selfish reasons, I wish he would have landed in what I think is a more secure situation.
I don't mind it. I told Smitty when it happened, I'm excited about it. I think
Brian you want the kid to fail.
No, not at all. I'm excited. No, I'm speaking of a good and truth. I think he'll be fine in New York with Daboll. I think Daboll is the perfect fit for a big arm, deep passer like Jameis Winston.
I mean, who's he throwing to besides Neighbors?
They're all right. They got some decent spots. So that means me, let me ask you something then. With number 3, now who do you target? The best wideout on the board, or are you going to get a QB?
So let me say this, JB. You know how I feel about Cam Ward. Based on what Tennessee's done this offseason, I think we can comfortably conclude that they're 95% going Cam Ward. If you're Cleveland and New York, the problem with going Shedeur or Shook or Jackson Dart, however your board looks, is you're passing up Abdul Carter and or Travis Hunter, who project to be multi-year Pro Bowl, elite, all-time great caliber players. And I just think when you get in a position in the draft to have those opportunities, you can't pass up Myles Garrett to draft Kenny Pickett. You can't pass up Patrick Surtain Jr. to go and draft, let's say, Daniel Jones. You can't, and I'm just saying this because I thought there were question marks on Pickett and Jones as to where they were going. Some people didn't think they were first-round picks. And when you pass up on guys that are for sure could be number 1 picks in the draft and nobody would blink, I just think that's mismanagement of your draft capital.
Why don't you go get Travis Hunter then? Matt
that's
thinks
what I'm
he can
saying.
play. Matt thinks he can play both ways and all that old shit. I think he can be a fill-in guy, throw him a slam screen, throw him some different maker, and let him be a lockdown corner if that's what you guys think, and you get the best of both worlds. Why not draft him at 3, in my opinion?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying you're going to have Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter sitting there at 3. You can't pass on a transcendent all-time great talent to reach for a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you.
And I want you to do something for me. We got to agree to do it before I ask it.
I can't agree to nothing. I don't know what it is. That's like you. If you want me to rob a bank,
Stop saying what Travis Hunter can't do. Let Travis Hunter. He did it at Jackson State. He did it at Colorado. Nobody thought he could do it. when he went from J-State to Colorado. Now he's taking another jump to the National Football League. Let him go do it or attempt to do it. And if it doesn't work, then we can reassign his responsibilities at the job. But
Shaun,
right now, let the kid do what he's been doing, JB.
Stop being Smitty on this show.
First of all, I'm not Smitty.
You played in the NFL, Shaun. You won a Super Bowl, Shaun, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Show me a guy that played both ways to 100% of the time. And
we ain't never seen it done in college.
We have.
At the FBS level, we've never seen it.
They just didn't choose to do it. Charles Woodson just didn't choose to do it.
No,
Champ Bailey said, I just don't want to do it. I can do it.
Charles Woodson had no chance to be as good of a wide receiver as Travis Hunter. Champ Bailey was the same kind of athlete, but he wasn't a pure wide receiver. When Georgia used him on offense, it was more jet sweeps and versus type stuff. So, first of all, nobody thought Travis could do it at Colorado. And listen, stop calling me Smitty. I'm Smitty's mentor, okay?
Hey, all right, well, listen, Smitty's mentor, Smitty's uncle. We got a college basketball coaching I love watching him coach when he was coaching. Now I love him watching him break down the college game itself. And I got so many questions to ask him because I grew up as a UCLA Bruin, of course. We had the great Jim Herrig on the other day, and this guy is a rival to them. So we got to bring him in, man. Our main man, college basketball, knower of all things, former college coach, Georgia Tech, Memphis, plus others. Josh Pastner joins the show, man. Josh, man, I appreciate you, Coach, coming on here.
No, glad to do it. Yeah, it's some great. When I was at the University of Arizona, we had some great battles with UCLA and so some great games back in the day there. So,
hey, who was on that roster? So I know Gilbert Arenas, who's in this space now doing crazy shit like I am, and then he was on that roster. Break that roster down. That was what, 99, 2000?
Well, yeah, that was in 2000 2000. We had like Gilbert Arenas, Richard Jefferson. We had Lauren Woods, Jason Gardner, Luke Walton. We had a lot of guys. Now, I was on the team that won the 1997 national championship. 2000, we lost, or 2001, excuse me, we lost to Duke in the national championship game. But in 1997, we won the whole thing. But Gilbert Arenas has done very well, as you know. He's in the space that you're at there, so it's been good. But now the Arizona Wildcats are still alive in the tournament. The UCLA Bruins took a tough one the other day to Tennessee.
And I was going to ask you that right out the gate. Shaun King here, former NFL quarterback. He's a Duke fan for some reason. He played at Tulane, Coach, and he's a Duke.
Shaun is very much so. Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, a Duke, how do you go from Tulane to Duke? I don't get it. But anyway, your guys won. My poll question today was like, you know, shocker so far in the tournament. I had obviously Arkansas as the 10, beating St. John's obviously at the 2 spot, but Arizona's got to be up there. I know they beat, you know, Akron and then they got by an Oregon team, former Pac-12 rival, down 15. I kind of watched that game at the end last night. I thought the grit was there, the nutty-gutty performance they got out of those guys late. Are you surprised at Arizona getting there?
No, I'm not. I mean, they're a really good team. They started this year 4-5, had some losses. They lost their center, Krevis, who they really counted on. And then it actually helped them because they actually had to play less guys. Henry Visar became more of a focal point for them, and they started playing really well later in the year. They got to the championship of the Big 12 tournament championship. They lost to Houston, you know, so they've been a good team as of late. That did not surprise me. Now they've got Duke on Thursday, and obviously I think Duke's playing as well as anybody. They look like the best team in the country right now because they've got, of the remaining teams, they've got the most pros. They've got the number 1 draft pick in Cooper Flagg. They've got a great complementing cast around them. So I do think Duke will win. And Duke played Arizona earlier in the year over Thanksgiving time period, and Duke did win that game pretty handily. And the game was at Arizona. Let me just say one other thing you mentioned about Arkansas. In this tournament, it's really top heavy. There's no doubt about it. We can go into a deeper conversation about, is that because of NIL, and I like to say it's not even NIL, it's paying players. It's just pay to play. But so it's a really top heavy power conference driven tournament. And what's amazing is when Arkansas is your sort of called Cinderella story and your 10 seed, who's probably has the highest one of the highest pay, rosters financially. I don't know how much of a Cinderella story that is. I say all that to say, I just think because of the rules right now, that when you're at a mid-major school or a low-major school, whatever, not a non-power conference school, and you have a good year, you are going to go into the portal and to test your market to see what you can make at a higher level. And that's why people have asked, why isn't there as many upsets? It's strictly because those teams in the past, as you were talking with like the UCLA with Jim Herrick and all them, though, like when Princeton beat Jim Herrick back in the day in UCLA, Princeton had an older, they were all fourth year seniors, 23, 24-year-olds. Well, the guy at Princeton, even in the Ivy League, if you have a good year at Princeton your freshman year, I'm going to go in the portal to see what I can go make at Kentucky or North Carolina or Arizona. That's why the game has changed for that particular reason.
Hey, Coach, before Shaun asks you some stuff, I want to ask you, like, the most telling thing so far in 5 minutes with you is you were like, I won it in 97, and then we lose in 01. You were still there. Like, that's the thing about it. You were there in 97 and there in 01. There's not a guy. We used to know every roster. When you're a fan of the sport, I used to watch Big Mondays. Syracuse would take on Georgetown back when we were younger. The Big Monday games, the Big East would come on, the Villanovas, St. John, all these teams. I knew all the players, Rodney Monroe and all these guys. I'm like, all right, I know these guys. You don't know these guys no more. It's so hard to follow a team now.
Well, what's interesting. So as you mentioned, we being involved in the media, and at the beginning of the year, one of the things I was doing, I worked for different networks, ESPN, NBC, Turner, and CBS Sports. And so one of the thing in Turner, they had the Players Era tournament. First of this year was in Vegas, where it's actually the winner got more. The team got more money if you won the championship. It was a tiered system. First time that's ever kind of happened in college athletics. But I was there with Greg Anthony, myself, Adam Lefko, and Seth Davis. And Greg Anthony, who knows basketball, longtime NBA guy. He's in the, he follows NBA, but he was with next to me. He says, man, like, how do you even follow like this college basketball? It's like a foreign language, because the entire roster of every single team we were covering was literally brand new. Because just like you said, JB, whereas like Greg said, a couple years ago, you could follow college hoops and you could look and see who was there last year, what the stats were. You would know some of the guys. This year, literally, Josh, this is like foreign language in a sense that, like, you had to study every single team and know every new guy, because literally every team, every kid came from another school, and it was a start over. And so, yes, if you're not like literally doing that all, what happens is you don't start following the guys until. A lot of people don't follow college until after Super Bowl's done, and you're like, "Where this guy? He played at what school last year? I've never even heard of him." Like, and that's part of the deal now.
Perfect example: Walter Clayton Jr., first team All-American, spent 2 years at Iona. Some kind of way, the University of Florida allowed him to leave Lake Wells, which is down the street from Gainesville, and go to Iona.
Well, what happened was there, and he was actually a really good. Shaun, he was a really good football player too. Mm-hmm. And this is a great point. He went to Iona. He was under-recruited, went to Iona, had great years with Pitino. And then Pitino left to take the St. John's job, and he went in the port. But he was a great guard at Iona. So everyone missed on him. He went there and played, but and he went into the portal and obviously commanded a high dollar amount. And he went to Florida, went back home. But here's what I would tell you, Shaun. I don't know Walter Clayton Jr. could have helped Florida his first 2 years out of high school, because he's 19 years old. He can help Florida now when he's 21, 22, 23. That's the difference. And Rick Pitino said this. Why even recruit high school kids? He doesn't want to recruit high school kids anymore, because an 18-year-old guy can't, even though he might be talented, he's not going to be better than the 23-year-old in a college game to help you win college games. And the 18-year-old, like Rick Pitino says, let him go to another school, do what he's got to do his first 2 years, and then we'll get him on the back end. And that's just the cycle, how it is. And those rules allow it to be where it's at. Now, will they change the rules? Look, I think there's only two ways. Either the Congress or Senate have to get involved and have a uniformed act where across all 50 states, and this is what you're doing, so the NC2A can't get sued anymore, protection. Or the only other way is you're going to have to let them become employees, and there has to be a labor agreement, and you're going to have contracts where you're like sitting there saying, if you leave, there's a penalty, like a buyout, and you have to be there at a certain time. Maybe you tie things in academically, but until one of those two things happen, it's going to just continue to be how it's going to continue to be.
To Coach's point, JB, Coach's point, this is what makes Duke's run so impressive. Duke starts 3 true freshmen and have 2 true freshmen that come off the bench that are in the rotation.
Yeah, they're deep, though. Duke's deep.
Well, Duke's deep, but they've got tons of pros. Right? Tons of pros, and they're at a high level, and they've got a great supporting cast, and that's what John Shire was able to do in the recruiting. He was able to get a great supporting cast around guys like Cooper Flagg. They are really, really good. They've got pros that are young freshmen and even sophomores and juniors, but they've got a great supporting cast that are older guys as well.
John, one more thing, JB. So JB always says that he thinks he's a better basketball player than me. I don't know if you remember this, Josh. This was probably 2007, 2008, somewhere around there. The AAU tournament was in Orlando. Josh got like 10 things going. Hold on. Go ahead.
I was just telling them that no, we had you're
go ahead.
You're in Orlando.
But the AAU tournament, you were at Georgia Tech. AAU tournament was in Orlando.
Yeah.
And me and Jay Will on ESPN got in a 3-point contest at halftime, and I beat him. I was JB, so anytime you want some, get some.
Hey, listen, first of all, I don't know about Shaun shooting, but I will say, but listen, if you're an athlete, and I've always said this, football players all wanted to be on the basketball court. No basketball players ever wanted to play football.
Thank you.
That's because I mean, who wants to get hit all the time like that in an outdoor heat? When you're in basketball, at least you're in the gym. You know what I mean? It's a little bit different. You can be soft a little bit in basketball and still be really good. You know what I'm saying? Football, boy, you better have a hit first mentality at everything that you do.
John underestimates me. You know, I played with the O'Bannons, grew up, Artesia. We didn't lose too much in high school, Josh, just so we're clear at Artesia. We didn't lose too much. Former Arizona Wildcat Cameron Murray was around my age, so he was there before you. And we had Tracy, of course. Let me ask you something, Josh, real quick. Do you miss it? Do you miss the coaching aspect? And the only reason I asked you is Cal came on yesterday and was like, when the hell's the portal open? Monday. I'm getting ready for the damn Sweet 16. I got to worry about kids leaving. So the portal is a mockery to me, and I'm glad I'm not in it no more because I just don't know if I could do it. But do you miss it when you're dealing with a team like Michigan who's in the Sweet 16 and Scottie Pippen's son just entered the portal 5 minutes ago, by the way?
No, I look, I love being part of the meet. It's been great. I've been out 2 years, but yes, I would like to coach again. But the great thing, because of the media opportunities that I have, I'm not going to just take something just to take something. So yes, JB, it's got to be the right opportunities. It's got to be the right fit. I've got to be the right fit for them, and they've got to be the right fit for me. And whether that, if you find something great, and if not, it is what it is. But I would like another shot at it. I've taken 2 teams to, one conference and regular season championships and to the tournament. I would like to take a 3rd program to do that. But it's got to be we both got to see the right fit on that. But it is a crazy time right now in college athletics. I was going to ask you. Enjoy it because you're dealing with people. It's more about people than ever before, and to be successful.
It's funny. I know. Before Shaun, let me ask this one thing. You say people, the relationships as you and I grew up in, recruiting the mother to get the son, recruiting the parent.
You got to deal with the agent.
You really want to do that stuff?
But coach, it streamlines now. Instead of chasing a kid for 3-4 years, like if I was recruiting Shaun, you got to chase him 3-4 years. You got to do all this, and then there's 5 schools, and then you got to wait. You're literally 3 to 4 years wasting your time. Wasting is the wrong word. You're just.
But what it was,
And then all of a sudden you don't get the guy, and you're like, well, this is crazy. So now at least I look at it, you just streamline everything. You just call the agent, you call the person who's handling it, because it's really a business decision. Yeah, there's going to be some things about playing time and how you're going to play when the money's equal. But then you're just dealing that maybe in a week's time, and then you just move forward. But it's so much of it's about you got to evaluate properly. You just can't throw money out, get a bunch of players with a bunch of money, and then expect it's still evaluating is still the key thing. But you just streamline everything. So it's different on that.
How do you deal with a kid at Vanderbilt, though, who loses in the first round to St. Mary's or whatever, and then the guy's in the portal 13 minutes, Josh?
That's
13 minutes. Like, how are you in there? You just got to be with the team. You're like, who the hell?
You've got to take it like every single year. You've got to coach. In my personal opinion, you've got to coach that you're going to lose you're going to lose your team the entire year. You can't coach worrying about to try to keep a guy or save a guy on the team. So you got to coach the team hard, do what you got to do, and then just expect you're going to lose all 10 guys in the portal, and you're going to have to start all over again next year. And it's just, I'm telling you, until Senate or Congress, and that's a whole nother discussion. Like, they've got other things worrying about, but until they decide to put a law in that the NC2A does not get sued, because right now they've gotten sued and have
Juco and all that
time, or you're going to have to make them to be employees. Until one of those two things happens, you're going to lose your team every single year.
Josh, JB's so one-sided. You can't attack the kid at Vanderbilt and then actually be honest about Will Wade getting McNeese State to the tournament and taking the NC State job before the tournament starts. Sean Price loses Xavier. He's the head coach at Texas the next day. Like, it goes both ways.
No, it does. But now, Josh, you can answer this better. You're going to open it up and make it the Wild Wild West. Why wouldn't a 45-year-old grown man that's put his kids through college and pay the bills shop and get a better job? You would leave Walmart to go to Target to get $50,000 more. So, like, don't compare 17-year-olds to grown men, dog.
Post-COVID, all the kids 30 anyway.
But let me just say this, and I'm for coaches and I'm for the player, I'm for everybody. But the only thing with the coaches, there is contracts
obligation. Yeah.
And so you do have to, and there's look in your contract, there's things like we could take the money away from you if you commit something, that doesn't align with our values. You don't do X, Y, Z, you could lose your guaranteed money, So I say all that to say that's my point where you're talking about. I agree with Shaun. Like, hey, the players, they've got to be held to the same standard. I agree. If they just because of but the only thing is then you got to, I think at some point there, that's where the contract comes in, and you want to hold. And I know they want to veer away from the performance based. But to try to put a Band-Aid on that and say this is it's pay for play. Let's just call it like it is.
No doubt.
And so, that's my point is, how do you have a solution? Forget the solution. Forget the problem. The solution is two ways. Either they're going to make a law that protects the NC2A and antitrust law so they don't get sued, or you're just going to have to deal where everybody becomes an employee and just accept it and go with that.
It's easy. To Sean's point, though, we had Frank Martin on, a good friend of mine, on Friday, and we had him and Harrigan, and they're both similar. We're all older, obviously, than the normal guys, but think about it. Will Wade, at least, and even though Frank was like, look, me and Will don't get along, he was at LSU and I was at South Carolina. It is what it is, but I respect the transparency. He said Will Wade's just coming out and saying, hey, I'm taking my guys from this group, and we're going to take a bigger job, and I'm taking them. And that's what the world has created, right? This landscape.
Well, yeah, and I appreciated Will being transparent. I think it was a good thing, and I think even in the contracts of the players, I think everybody in the coaches, you ask, everybody just wants transparency. So what is this? So that way, if I'm recruiting you and Shaun's your agent, and I'm calling Shaun and I'm saying, Shaun, okay, I want JB, but is it, okay, you're telling me that, okay, you got to pay him $200,000, but in reality, there's 3 other schools only giving him 75, or like. We got to get to a point where there's complete transparency, so there's a system where everybody knows. And I think the only way to do that again is either we're going to keep going around like this every single year until they're going to get a collective bargaining, and there's going to be labor laws to have protection for the players. But then in return, the players are going to be held account, and there's got to be transparency and all those other things, and there's a union, or or you got to have laws by the federal government for all 50 states, so everyone's playing on the same.
And John, I think it's even going to be worse when you go union and you go 401k, and these cats get bereavement pay, and these dudes get sick pay and vacation pay. That's all got to be added if you're going to be an employee of the school.
Well, and I don't know how all that will work, because I don't know if it's, I'm not an expert in this. I think is there can you do a collective bargaining both with or a union both with, whether it's an employee or a non-employee? I don't know how all that works. I think there is a way you can do it a non-employee, but yes, all that would have to be factored in. But right to me right now, I'm not negative on the game in the sense that I think it streamlines everything. Yes, I haven't been in it the last 2 years, but if I'm in it, I'm like, hey man, we can just let's cut out the waste. And you'll go right and just keep it really efficient, and you're calling and you're getting right to the bottom of it, and it just keeps everything simple.
But Josh, you got to take a job at Bama though, right? To even be in, it's not about recruiting no more. It's not about I got a gift to get. I'm gonna go out recruit your. Now it's whoever has the biggest bag.
Well, if I got a job, I'm going to come to you two with your financial payroll and ask you to donate to my NIL. I know Shaun made a lot of money. I know you've made good money. You guys should be donating to me so I can that would be part of my gig. Is you got to then cultivate, raise money. Now, they have that house settlement, JB, that where it's now revenue share. It's going to be moved from NIL to revenue share, where they're going to pay from in-house. And then there's some rules where you can
TV still money,
yeah, and there's some revenue sharing on that. We'll see how that ends up all being, but that will eventually close some of the collectives or NILs. There are some rules where you can still do NIL stuff, but we'll see in the end how that goes.
It's an easy fix. Just do a salary cap based on conference.
But you got it. If you're going to do that, then you would have to either have a law by the government, or you've got to have then a collective bargaining agreement. I don't think you can just do that, because what would happen is somebody's going to sue. Like they're trying to sue right now, and the NCAA has lost every lawsuit. If you try to sue, like people are trying to sue right now to have more years of eligibility. It's bonkers. Like at some point, you can't be 27, 28 playing college basketball or college sports. And I get it. There's maybe religious exceptions, military exceptions. There's some things on that, but you just can't, because you want
Mormon mission.
Because correct, religious deals. So you can't just keep playing and expect, because hey, the longer I stay in college, I'm going to make more money than I would in the real world.
John, if we do Shaun's way, then I think you're going to get what the women's game is. And I love Coach Yo, the head coach at Ole Miss, good friend of mine. She'll be on the show this week. She's got her running her Ole Miss Rebs in the Sweet 16. The rest, like the 64 team, to me, it just is what Shaun's talking about. You're going to get 105 to 48 games. UConn beating Arkansas State, and LSU just beat San Diego State 105 to 48. I don't want to watch that. I want to see the best 32 maybe, or best, but that's what's going to happen. The discrepancy in money is just, it's a bad look.
And again, the only way to cultivate that would be that there's going to have to be something, because I'm saying somebody's just going to go to the courts and sue, and it's going to lose. And
my PSA to the student athletes is be careful. Don't get too greedy, because eventually they're going to start treating y'all like pros, and pros get fined for missing meetings and being late to practice and being unaccountable. Right now, y'all got the best of both worlds.
And I think that's where can they get to where the payments even are tied, because we all three of us sitting here, we haven't talked one thing about academics, and so
student athletes gone.
So there's got to be hopefully some tied something to the academic component of, because that's still the mission of the NCAA
yeah, exactly. Where are you graduating from, Coach? Where are you going? Are you claiming LSU, Ohio State, Michigan after you've been to your fourth school? What school did you get your degree from? That's come on, man. Hey, Coach, I can't thank you enough. I got to ask you, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you the last thing here. You said Duke, probably the deepest team. You're an Arizona Wildcat. I picked Houston because of the money, so I took the odds. I took Houston, even though they're still a 1 seed. I think they play great defense. Who's that? Duke or the Field right now?
My final four teams are Auburn, Florida. That's remaining. The four teams I think will get to the Final Four: Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston. I think Houston's going to win the national championship. I just think what they do defensively and what they are on the glass, I think it's hard to simulate that. I think this is, excuse me, Kelvin Sampson's best offensive team since he's been there. They're really good in offensive transition. They're a really good 3-point shooting team with LJ Cryer. The only issue is they are playing this week in Indianapolis. Number one, they're playing against Purdue. So it's going to be a home game versus Purdue. The other two teams are Tennessee and Kentucky, which is a quick drive for them. So Houston's the farthest of those 4 teams in that bracket right there remaining. So for them to get to the Final Four, the only thing will be that the crowd, I think, will favor the other 3 teams because of the proximity for them. So they'll have to just counter that would be the only deal.
Right quick, JB, before he leaves. I've always wanted to be a GM of a college basketball team, just FYI, Josh. And I do live in a major city out in the great state of Nevada. So if you need me to pick you up from the airport, we'd love to have you out here, brother.
Hey, man, I would love to. You and I would do some great things together. And they need some energy in there. Let's go. You know
Let's go, baby.
I'm with you.
Hey, hell yeah. Hey, Josh, man, keep doing great things. I can't thank you enough for jumping on. We'll have to have you again, hopefully, maybe after the tournament or something. And keep killing it, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Anytime you need me on, let me know.
All right, brother. I appreciate it. Good luck, too, if you get back into the thick of things, coaching.
Thanks,
Great
guys.
stuff, Coach.
All right, brother.
Now I gotta listen to you. I gotta listen to you. Think you were right picking Houston? Did Josh back you up?
What do I know? Well, he's not the only one though. Frank Martin picked Houston. I'm starting to scared money don't make money. I'm starting to think I made a hell of a bet.
Hey, we will win it all. We are healthy. We are deep. We are big. We play defense. We can score. We are experienced and proven, even though we're young.
Who's we?
D-U-K-E.
Like Jim Herrick said, you're just a 4-letter word to me.
Listen, I fell in love with a whole lot of white sports in 1988. I fell in love with NASCAR. It was this number 3 Wrangler driver around the track, Dale Earnhardt. This is before the good year. This one, he was in the number 3 yellow and blue Wrangler. I fell in love with a filly named Winning Colors. I know what horse racing was. I was watching the Kentucky Derby. They had this white guy with silver hair, D. Wayne Lucas. I fell in love with horse racing, and I fell in love with Duke. I was watching Tommy Amaker, Johnny Dawkins, Billy King, Jay Billis, Danny Ferry. I go way back, baby. I was a Duke men's basketball fan before I knew where Tulane University was. Shout out to Tulane University, Coach Sumrall. Hopefully we can win us an AAC title. So I just want to get some background to these little squeebs in the chat that keep taking shots at me. That's why I say we when I'm talking about Duke.
Yeah, I want to show you something.
I'm 37 years in the game as a Duke men's basketball fan.
Yeah. I want to know. I don't know if you saw this. I was getting tagged a lot. I don't know why I was getting tagged a lot in this, but there was a speaking of white sports, shout out to this white announcer. She was bringing the heat with great analytics.
Yeah, I saw that.
She brought some great analytics to the show. I actually tuned in. I don't know what sport it was. I forgot, but I know I tuned in. It was a great job by her.
I listened, JB. She made 2 great points. I mean, 2 absolutely great points. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I mean, she had unbelievable takes. I thought it was a great performance by her. That's why we tune in to watch women talk sports. And they do a hell of a job, man. Shout out to the women out there, man. Shaun, I got to be honest real quick. We got a lot going on today. Shout out to Josh Pastner joining us. Legendary Al Bernstein joined us in about 30 minutes. We're going to take a quick commercial break and come back with some Eric Bieniemy news and some Luke Campbell news. Does he have a Twitter beef going on? We're going to dive into that. We're going to dive into that with Shaun and get Shaun's take. And let's see if it's Shaun's take or is it Smitty's take. We're going to see on the other side. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
its plan is to put
baby,
an
hold up.
electronic system to measure first downs into motion this upcoming regular season. I remember we talked about this, I think, with Steve.
Every year.
We talked about this with Steve though a while back. No, I think Steve, if I'm not mistaken, was the guy who actually feels like this should have been done, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm getting confused with another guest, but I'm pretty sure Steve was like, hey, it's 2025. It's like, at this point, we should be able to have an electrical system. Because we had this last year during the AFC Championship game, Josh Allen gets that fucking first down on that quarterback sneak. He gets that first down on quarterback sneak, and they probably
we don't know that. We don't know yet.
We do know that. We do know that.
No, we don't.
We do know that. We do know that.
Smitty, a Chinese robot just attacked a bitch in the crowd.
I saw that, homie, and that's your boy Elon, who you love, who you're a fan of.
That ain't Elon. That's Shim Chong Young and them. That ain't Elon, homie. That's Shim Chong Young and them.
He sent them a technology, homie. Where'd they get the technology from, homie?
Elon's not the technology guy. He's not the originator of all technology. You act like this motherfucker's been sending cats to space and shit. Elon's took some other people's shit and ran with it, homie. Kim Jong-un and them did this. Here's the thing. Let's be real. So a fucking robot attacked a motherfucker in China, and we're thinking that this shit right here is going to get the first down right.
They're still going to have the chain game as a backup option as well. They're not removing the chain game.
What's going on, homie?
Oh, shoot.
Look at that shit. Oh, yeah, she's getting babies of cold, but look at that motherfucker.
And he was hot, too, though. He was hot. Hey, the robot,
he looked like AB. Looked like AB. I thought it was Antonio Brown.
Hey, the robot said, motherfucker, you better stop yelling in my ear.
Look like AB, huh?
That's super racist. That's like you.
Why is that racist? AB right there, homie.
Who? The robot?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Damn. What about the robot look like AB? I'm just curious.
Just like from the back view, homie. It looked like I'm just looking at it.
What specifically about him looks like reminds you of AB?
The vest. He wears the vest a lot, and he got he had something on his head. I mean, that's what I saw.
None on his head.
Yeah, he got a little string.
That's the robot. That's the head. That's the robot. That's him.
That's the robot head, homie.
That's him. Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought he had a bandana on. I thought they were making it like human. Homie, why you got a vest on then?
This dude,
my mind, Smitty, my brain sees things. My brain sees shit, and then I see it, and then you guys all see it, and then you say, "Damn, that motherfucker that really is AB." Like, you know what I'm saying? You'll see it in a couple of days. You'll be like, "Damn, JB said that's AB," and then Cameron and Mace will say it, and then no, he won't give us the fucking credit, and then Shaq will say it, and then everybody will come out 10 years from now and say, "Oh, JB said that first," and then some fucking nobody in the chat will come out and say, "Shaq said that shit."
Yeah, we're back in the building, man. Pound that like, subscribe, become a member if you're not one. Appreciate everybody tapping in on a Merciless Monday as the Sweet 16 has been tabbed. Shaun, I introduced the show with George Foreman and the women's side. I thought I was be remiss if I didn't mention the great women out there. Coach Yo, a good friend of mine, great coach at Ole Miss, is going to join the show this week. She joins us every year about this time. She's made it to the Sweet 16. She's got the Ole Miss Rebs in the Sweet 16. But I got to ask you a question. Do all teams deserve to get in when you see the scores of, you see the UConn, Arkansas State, 100 points, LSU, San Diego State, Duke allowed 25 points by their opponent, as well as SC led by Juju Watkins. They only allowed 25 points in a game of a competitive nature in the March Madness, in the tournament where we all strive to be in. Is this too many teams in the tournament for the women?
I got a little different take on this. There's a super Walmart size separation between the good women's basketball teams in college and the average ones. Like, that's why you get these blowouts. But what has happened with NIL and transfer portal, unlike most years where UConn is head and shoulders better than everybody, or in Pat Summitt, Tennessee, or in the Don State in South Carolina, like, it's kind of turned into like there's always been one super duper team nobody can beat. This year, to be honest, South Carolina, Notre Dame, USC, UCLA,
Stanford, Notre Dame,
NC State, like, they're about 7-8 teams that got a legit shot to win it. So to me, at the top of the women's college basketball game, this is the most parity they've had in a long, long time.
But is that parity or is that just top heavy? Why don't we just put? Okay, I'm not gonna be too dramatic. Let's just put 32 teams in though. The tournament will be much better. It'll be much better. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't you think the first round, like these first games would have been much more competitive than what they are?
And here's my point. I don't even know where they're on TV yet. Like, where is the first round of the women's college basketball?
Nobody's showing up to the women's games.
Right. Like,
there's not a soul in the crowd, and it's a joke. I'm going to be honest. Now, the same women will say that it's men's fault why nobody's there. But anyway, that's a whole nother debate. Let me ask you something, though. Do you want to really go out and let your daughter get beat by LSU by 70 on national television in March Madness if you're a San Diego State daughter's father? Like, I don't want to see that. I'd rather you go to play in the NIT, though, against someone more competitive, and we ain't got to watch that nasty-ass whipping.
As long as she's on full scholarship, I'm good. Shout out to Title IX.
Yeah.
Here's what I don't understand about the women's tournament. Why would you run it concurrent with the men's tournament?
Yeah, I don't either.
There is so much value to starting a week and a half later and getting opportunity to showcase your sport. Like, nobody's watching women's college basketball when they're playing on the first weekend of March Madness. It's just
it's just the next day is all it is. It's just and everybody does. That's the day, Shaun, that we're all going to go on the yacht. We're going to go to the cigar lounge. We're going to go kick it. We're not watching the women's game. We just spent the time to watch the men's game because the men's days, let's be honest, the men's days are Thursday, Saturday. Much better days to watch it than Friday, Sunday.
But the men play Friday, Sunday too.
Yeah. Now, right, the Sweet 16 round, yeah. I mean 32,
right,
yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean, they open the same weekend. It's like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. But
I agree.
By the way, shout out to Jaden Daniels and Juju. And Jaden Daniels' mom, you need to cut it out. You're getting.
Hold on. I know both families here. I know both families well. Let me dive into why this is. Before you even put your foot in your mouth, I don't want you to say something.
Hold on.
I want to help you. I'm trying to help you like Smitty. Go ahead.
I know. Let me say something. If the sequencing of this is right, where Jaden was next to Juju and the mom sat in between after that, because you can't tell from the video. It could have been the mom initially was there, and then she got up so that Jaden and Juju could chat. But they presented it to America like Jaden and Juju was chatting, and the mom came and sat in between.
Let me give you guys some context because I've grown up. I know Juju's whole family. I know Jaden's family. My boys coached Jaden in high school, and I know his mom, Antonio Pierce. We all kind of have the same little thing. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, these guys have been around each other since they were babies. His mama been around Juju since she was a little kid, and her mama. I don't believe they're true blood cousins, but you know how it is. BPS, Shaun, we cousins. So that's what they go around saying. I'm just keeping it real. This is not a sit in between type of scenario as you would think with other folks, since the mother has come out on record and said, nobody dating my baby, blah, blah, blah. We know the stories. This is a different thing. This is more of a family relation, and it's a whole nother deal. I just want to give you context, Shaun, before you go out here and say she's sitting in between them.
First of all, Smitty.
Juju and Jaden, Smitty, are not going to be dating. So stop.
First of all, Smitty, because you're acting like Smitty right now. This is 2025. Ain't nobody playing no damn play cousin shit in 2025.
BPS, they do.
Either we blood related or we not. Come on, man.
You're going to see Jaden Daniels. You're going to see Jaden and his mama in that dude's boat car pulling up to my yacht. Stop.
Hey, listen.
BPS.
Listen, they're not related, literally. Like, they're not blood relatives. And I would have no problem with Jaden and Juju. And this was not an attack on Juju or Jaden. This was me, like, as a father, like, mama, chill a little bit. Like, you raised a good young man. He has discernment. Like, obviously.
Hold on, though. I got a major problem. I got a major fault with your take. I got a major fault with you, Smitty's take. So y'all sit up here and defend Lamar Jackson's mama for being an agent, getting $250 million, but you're mad about this man's mama protecting his assets? Make sense, man.
She ain't protecting no more. This is getting, like, weird.
Stop it. I wanted to save that ass whooping right there for Smitty tomorrow when he defends fucking.
Man, listen, man. Right is right, wrong is wrong.
Nah.
Right is right, wrong
well,
is
wrong.
wrong.
So Lamar can have a mama agent, but this man's mama is not protecting him as his rookie year in the league is bad.
Dude, I knew you were going to go there. Hold on. Back up. Give me 50 feet. Listen to me. This ain't like a one-and-done NBA player that's 18 out here in these streets. Jaden Daniels damn near 30 years old. To be exact, I think he's 24.
He ain't no damn near 30 damn years old.
I said to be exact, he's like 20.
He ain't
Shador,
like
he's 24 or going on 25, I think. So it's not like he's a young, innocent adolescent. Like, come on, he's a grown man. She did a great job of raising him. At some point, mama, goddamn, take a breath.
Shout out Jaden's mama. She fine, too. I like Jaden's mama.
Is she married?
Don't worry about all that. So let's move on. You married, though, so I don't know.
I wasn't asking for me.
Oh, well, ask for me then. I'll hit her up. Let me ask you something.
What kind of song?
I gotta ask you something real quick. Let's dive into this real quick though, because I gotta get your Smitty take on this.
Oh, Jesus.
Luther Luke Campbell, 2 Live Crew Luke, who we all grew up with, tells Willie Simmons he needs to fucking check in after FIU hosts practice at Hadley Park in the Miami inner city. Come on, dog. Come on, homie. You 60 damn years old, Luke. Stop this shit. Big U out here in LA just got a RICO case going on, and you're talking about checking in, homie? You a rapper, homie? Stop it. I'm so tired of this fake shit, homie. Go ahead, Shaun. I don't know if you want to talk about this shit, but that shit is crazy. Can you please read the first line to the folks out here? Because I can't read it.
Yeah, it says, hey, Willie, let me tell you how it go. When you check into a real Negro city, you're supposed to check in. You did it. When Mario Cristobal came back here, he checked in. We had to sit down over Cuban coffee. Willie Simmons is not Cuban. When the last FIU head coach took the job, he checked and asked me to get Pitbull to make a large donation and his name on the stadium. Willie Simmons is not the last head coach, Luke. He don't owe you anything. You didn't do him a favor yet. You do know that was my artist. I made that happen. Okay, cool, Luke. Now take that up with the ex-head coach. This is the new one. Every FAU football head coach check in, including the new one there now. That's GS from a G. Good luck on your season. So here's my issue with this.
You want to read Simeon's
Okay, Coach Willie Simmons responded. I'm official now. You're not the head coach at a major college in South Florida until the legend, and he added him. All right, shout out to my guy Willie Simmons. Post something negative about you. He knows he's still my man, $100,000. We're going to pull up on YouTube, brother, as we plan to show the whole city love. Hashtag pause up, hashtag we are 305, hashtag lock the cage. See, here's my issue with this, and it's twofold. First of all, Luke, you better be careful on this check-in stuff. They got a whole RICO situation going on the other coast about guys that are rappers and in the criminal element talking about making people check in. So be careful there, buddy. Secondly, Luke has done a lot of good, right? Here's my problem. he seems to always at some point make it about him. Like, just because he didn't show up to Hadley Park, how many of the kids that were at Hadley Park has Willie Simmons already reached out and contacted?
This is a mock.
You know, like, this is ludicrous. And he got the right one because Willie been at an HBCU in the state of Florida. So it ain't like he got some green dude down there. And Willie's from Florida. So I like what Luke does as far as giving the kids opportunities. But again, big dog, Luke, I love you. Like one of my icons in the rap industry. This ain't about you. Nobody's got to check in with you to be successful in college football.
I'll be honest. You know some cats, and I know some of the same cats. We know some cats that really have a lot of pull and run a lot of shit in Miami. Luke ain't one of them, dog. Let's keep it fun.
I'm not going to agree with you there. He does have cachet.
Yeah, he ain't got cachet. Cachet is one thing,
Yeah,
but actual credibility.
Yeah, but again, I just
shout out to my main man Allen in the house, Hialeah Beach, Hialeah Lakes. Shout out, he's a Miami through and through. He knows the deal, Shaun. He knows the damn deal, Shaun.
Okay, here's what I'm saying. I'm from Florida, right? No one person runs Miami, but that don't mean that Luke is irrelevant in Miami. He still got a position. He carry weight, but don't know one person run Miami. My thing is this, Luke, that's a black man at FIU. Why are you attacking him?
That's the thing, though, man. I'm glad you called that out.
I hate black on black crime. Like, this is unsolicited. Like, Luke, you're supposed to be in this for the kids.
Exactly.
Why are you making it about you?
I want to know something real quick.
Hold on, one more thing, JB. One more thing. And Luke, when you do stuff, you should do it out of love. So if you got Pitbull to donate the money to name the stadium, you should have did that out of love for the kids that are going to play in that stadium moving forward. That they got a better opportunity, a better environment, a better support system to try and go be great. You don't throw that up in the next coach's face. That favor wasn't done for him.
If you're a real one, you ain't on Twitter, talk about check-in. Check-in is one of these new terms y'all came up with. This ain't no gangster-ass term we use. That's the y'all young cats. There ain't no such thing as checking in when you're 60 years old. Are we talking, Shaun, I just want to ask you, dog, is this the rap game? Are we trying to equate football coaching, a bunch of black kids in the inner city equal, and we're equating it to the rap game? Checking in. 2 rappers just got smoked in Memphis, did they not? Yeah, two rappers.
Sauce Walker got shot.
They went on Instagram. On their phone, Shaun, talking about, I'm from Memphis. Nothing happening to me. And these 2 cats, one gets killed. The other one is in critical condition right now. And we talking about checking in with football coaches about football kids? Like, that shit makes zero sense to me, dog. It's a joke, homie.
On a serious note, man, we got to stop some of this violence. It's just
this shit is a joke, bro.
You work too hard to get to a point where you can, make money to, like, at least provide, like, a decent life for your family, and then just to get caught up in this foolishness, man. No, that's why I'm disappointed in Luke because of this, because of all the other things that are going on. And even if he wasn't malicious, like, there could have been some satire to this post, probably not. There are people out there who are going to take it a certain way. Now you're creating resentment in some form for Willie Simmons for no reason.
Yeah, didn't another rapper got killed in Dallas or something in Texas the other day?
Him and his daughter.
And then the baby mama is already on Instagram with the money, flossing the money. Come on, homie. This shit is a joke, bro. Your daughter got killed and you out here flossing about the fucking money you got from it? Like, this shit is ridiculous, bro. I'm just saying, this is ridiculous. Your boy, our boy, Eric Bieniemy is in the news. Was always hard on Adrian Peterson because he knew how great he could become. I'll show you a video real quick because EB is. Here's the thing I know about EB. He's going to be that guy all the time. And I don't know if there's a coach out there that can do it anymore. He's going to try it. I think from what I've heard, he's kind of slowed it down a little bit because he knows the fragile state that these cats are now in, especially coming from the transfer portal into the league. That right there to you and I is just coaching, Shaun.
I was going to ask, what did he do wrong?
we don't bat an eye at this, right? Now we got to discuss it because everyone's so fragile and soft. Here's what I do know, context-wise. EB would have had him at UCLA as well. He has a really good relationship with Adrian Peterson, and had him coming to UCLA with Drew Jones, Maurice Jones-Drew, he would have had both of them. He was the responsible party, just so we're clear, for UCLA's great class that he had at UCLA for a while there with some big NFL players. He had Mercedes Lewis. I can go down the list that he had at UCLA. A couple of big-time 12, 13-year pros on defense. He recruited. He had AP coming to UCLA as well, and then he decided to get into the league. And then he goes to Minnesota, and he coaches AP because he had a relationship. He knew how to talk to him, and people think that right now, if that video dropped today, Shaun, we'd be talking about when is he going to be fired. That's how soft we are.
I don't have a problem with that. He wasn't F-bombing him. He wasn't butt-cussing him. He basically was like, why are you late? You got to get taped. All right, we're going to fire you. All right, move on. Then he was like, okay. Obviously, Adrian was like, the meeting don't help him. Well, okay, I'll cancel the morning meeting, but you're going to be here, and we're going to go in the locker room, and we're going to walk through everything. Then thirdly, obviously, Adrian Peterson ran the wrong damn play. So he's holding him accountable. What did the quarterback call? Well, this is what I was thinking. Ain't nobody asked you what you was thinking. What did the quarterback call?
Yeah,
I don't know what Bieniemy did wrong in any of those videos.
It didn't do anything. That's just coaching. Anyone that doesn't think that is just soft as shit, and you never even played or you definitely never coached. So you need to take your asses off.
And to Adrian Peterson, if you'd have hit me with that whatever, woo.
Exactly. That's when it started to turn, right? That whatever shit. Man, please.
I seen Adrian Peterson box. I saw him get dropped by Chad Johnson. So, yeah, I'm just telling you, AP, if you'd have hit me with that whatever, and I'm asking, and you wrong in the situation, oh, man.
And by the way, EB's a scrapper. He just want to choke somebody.
That would have went real interesting right there, baby.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Shaun, I started the show off with Cal and these other guys diving into the portal opening today in college basketball. I just need you to make sense of it real quick. Cal addressed everybody talking about when's the portal open, and they're like today or tomorrow, and he's like Monday. As I get ready for the Sweet 16, I got to worry about guys entering the portal. And then during the show here, Scottie Pippen's son has entered the portal, and his University of Michigan is in the Sweet 16, Shaun. Make it make sense. First of all, as to why the damn portal's even open. And second of all, you're in the tournament leaving your team, Shaun. There's a problem.
But, I mean, we saw this before, right? This happened in college football. The backup quarterback for Penn State.
Texas.
Remember they had to make he had to make. Remember, he didn't participate in the college football playoff. By the way, I don't know where he ended up.
He ended up at
Duke. Tulane is at Duke. Tulane's Darren Mensah. He's at Duke. I'm talking to Penn State.
Talking about Bo Pribula. He's at Missouri.
Missouri, okay.
Nah, the kid we're talking about is at Duke, right? Right,
no, I'm talking about Penn State's backup quarterback.
No. I'm talking about Texas.
Okay. JB's talking about Malik Murphy.
No, he's not at Duke. They told him to leave.
Yeah. But Malik Murphy was the backup, though, at Texas, who entered the portal while they got into the playoff.
No, that was 2 years ago. He was a starter at Duke last year.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So it looks like
the Penn State kid, Yeah,
it looks like the college schedule is bad for men's football and men's basketball. Because the portal pops up, the start of the portal pops up with inside of the championship chase, which is bad.
How is it? How is that even like these? I'm lost for words, dog. How the NCAA, the governing body, has literally said this is a well thought out plan. This is really what they came out and said. When your mission statement is education, and you're allowing the portal to be open for kids to enter it midstream during either a semester, if that's what academic calendar you're on, or B, a quarter, if that's what academic calendar you're on, you're telling me that that this is well thought out? Come on, man. How is the portal open? It's spring break, Shaun, by the way. To many schools, it's spring break. You know, every other week they alternate. So if you're a quarter or a semester, you're in South Padre, you're in Miami, you're in Cabo, you're in Hawaii, and we're gonna open the portal. Man, this thing.
Hey, but again, now that it's the Wild Wild West, if you're gonna restrict the players, you gotta restrict the coaches. I just think it's a bad look that Will.
But
Wade
again, there's a contract. There's a contract.
I know, but JB, they all on contracts now too. And there's an addendum. There's an addendum for the new contract that says you're eligible to renegotiate on said date. That's when the portal opens again.
That's the contract, but it ain't a binding one, dog. It's a he say she say contract that says the portal's open. I can get out of jail free.
So let me ask you this. So the NFL has dates, right? Free agency is only open during this window, right? Trading deadline, different things, right? Why can't college sports say the season ends when the national champion is identified, and then everything opens the day after?
It's the most contradictory, hypocritical entity in the world. The NCAA is the most hypocritical entity that we've ever seen. And here's why. Number one, you open a portal up during a time that school is in when your mission statement is directly stating we are about academics first. You can't be about academics first when you allow kids to enter a portal and leave an institution to go to another one, and then sit here and tell me that these kids need to have an out, and then scream Title IX on the other side of it, where it's clearly not even discussed or brought up, and then we're talking about dollar matching. Let's just be honest. And you're worried about TV contracts and dollar matching. It has zero to do with any of this other crap. And I'm just tired of it, man, because this is becoming a mockery. And I don't know if the Will Wades of the world aren't completely just use. I think Will Wade, even though he's transparent, and I talked to Frank and we think the same, he's really doing it to say you guys are idiots. And I'm going to go straight out and say, I'm leaving too. I'm transferring too, and I'm taking my kids with me, and I'm going to do it until I get the biggest job in the country and get back to an LSU or so. NC State is pretty much a college basketball blue blood. I mean, he's pretty close. It's pretty good. It's a pretty damn good school. He just used McNeese as a step ladder to go to NC State and take all those kids. By the way, McNeese had an older transfer portal roster that they plucked from other schools, and one of them being Frank's kids at UMass, just like Patino did at St. John's, and you're going to do it every single year. High school's dead, Shaun.
Yeah, NC State was in the Final Four last year, JB. Remember they had the big dude who they thought was going to go try out for NFL?
And Shaun, I don't have sympathy for these kids leaving if the coaches are getting fired. Texas loses, he gets fired, and now they're replacing him already with the team that beat him. It's coach.
Right.
That's
crazy.
So I know you have the sympathy for the kids, but I don't have the same sympathy for the kids as I do. The coach he's under contract. He has to pay back money if he gets fired or if he leaves to another job, but he's the guy who gets fired.
So it's not about sympathy, in my opinion. It's about functionality and timing. If you transfer to University of Texas in August, you should not be able to leave in December and go to Texas A&M in January, and then leave Texas A&M in May and go to Arkansas the next August. At least the transfer should be for the entirety of the academic year, meaning August through May.
Yeah. Shaun, we got a legend, man, and we can't thank this man enough for joining us. The greatest ever, man, who covered the man that we are mourning today, one of the boxing legends, George Foreman. This man covered him personally, and there's probably no other person to give more insight on a day like this than this man, and I can't thank him enough. The legendary Al Bernstein joins the show, man. Mr. Bernstein, how you doing?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Man. What's up, Al?
How are you? It's very nice to be with you guys, even if it's under circumstances where we have to talk about a sad topic. But we'll have to get together more often when we're talking about pleasant topics. But
no doubt.
But
no
even
one better
it's
have
still-
on than you, Al. No one better have on. I know you got about 20 shows you're going on, so we respect the hell out of your time. I can't thank you enough for popping on here. What did Foreman mean to you, just personally, just real quick?
Yeah, George was, George was a good friend of mine, and he wrote the foreword for my book, and he was somebody who, over the years, was extremely supportive to me, both in his days. I'm somebody, I don't get to be pals with boxers when they're fighting. That's a conscious choice. Good relations. I've had good relations with almost 98% of the fighters I've covered, but I don't become friends because I'm announcing their fights. But afterwards, oftentimes I do, and that is the case with George, and he was always so supportive. And I did a show at Caesar's Palace, a Boxing by the Book show, that he flew in from Houston, and he had to be like 3 different places, and he flew there and broke his back to get there for me. And we were at the Caesar's Palace Race and Sports Book, and we used to have this risers that were built. 2,000 people came to the Race and Sports Book to see George Foreman. It was a mob scene. Caesar's Palace was like, they couldn't believe it because it was crazy, right? And that tells you 2 things about George, that incident. 1, what a good guy he was for the people he knew, and number 2, the popularity and the love that he had going for him.
And Shaun King, who won a Super Bowl for the Tampa Bay Bucks and a high-level athlete, we all played and coached. And I like looking at the history, and I followed him as a youngster, and I'm like, in your mind, the guy that covered him forever, he has this great, unbelievable story. He makes it, wins it, goes on, and then in the Rumble in the Jungle, after that fight, was that kind of like the fall for him again after he had to struggle to get back on top? And did he never couldn't get over the hump again, you think?
Well, no. I mean, the Rumble, he lost to Ali, and then subsequently after that would lose to Jimmy Young, and then was out of boxing for a long time. Obviously, that was his place where we thought that was the end of the story with George Foreman.
Yeah.
But then comes the comeback when he comes back and miraculously in his late 30s starts to fight regularly. I announced a number of his fights, some on ESPN. I did some on small pay-per-views that Bob Arum did. And he manages to get through the heavyweight division.
We lose him?
Guy is for real, even at this age, and he was already about 40 years old. Finally, in his early 40s, gets yet another chance against Michael Moore, wins the title in a fight he's losing every round, and redeems himself and becomes, heavyweight champion of the world. So that Zaire fight with its disappointment and even the Young loss, kind of, it gets pushed to the side because of the remarkable comeback that he makes.
And he lost to Young, in 77?
Probably in that area, yeah.
Shaun's got some questions.
From an event standpoint, Ali, Don King, George Foreman, all iconic people in the sports. Where would you rank Rumble in the Jungle? Like, if we included all the sports and the iconic events that we've witnessed, I mean, we're talking Zaire, Africa, 60,000 people yelling Ali, Boombaye, Ali. Like, where would that event rank in the pantheon of sports events?
Well, Ali obviously participated in several of events that would be on that par. There was Zaire. There was the Joe Frazier fight at Madison Square Garden, the first one, which was considered the fight of the century. And then there was a Frazier fight in the Philippines, which also had its own. So there were three that of that era that were pretty extraordinary. And the Rumble in the Jungle certainly ranks right up there with all of them. And I would go back to Jack Johnson and Jim Jeffries, if we're talking boxing events. So it's right up there with all of them because it was an extraordinary event. Nobody really expected Ali to win that fight. I mean, for the most part, everybody thought Ali was going to lose. And then when he came out and started to do his rope-a-dope, everybody was sure that he was going to lose. And then, of course, he turned the tables on George Foreman.
One thing that I've never been able to grasp, because I'm 47, so I wasn't actually alive, or old enough to really understand like that era of boxing. Kobe Bryant, I felt like became more beloved after he retired from boxing.
Yeah.
Talk me through how the public
Basketball
felt about George Foreman while he was still boxing. We know they love the Pastner George, the George Foreman grill George. How was he viewed while he was still fighting?
That's a really, really interesting question. In his first incarnation, he was this, he was never, I don't think, even though he had that, they always have pictures of him with the scowl and he's a big guy and he's knocking everybody out. George Foreman was never, I wasn't covering him at the time, but even from everything I know, he wasn't a mean man, he wasn't like Sonny Liston was a kind of, he knew Sonny Liston really well. And he was, he kind of patted himself a little bit after him, but the public didn't dislike George Foreman because he was a big, rough guy. But Foreman was looked at that way as this, he's a monster, in the ring. And people, thought he was something and they liked him. And they were almost kind of looking forward to a George Foreman reign as champion because of the power and the excitement. But nobody really knew George Foreman at that point. And George Foreman at that point was still a funny man, like he was later. It was done in private. It wasn't done in public. And so he was the public liked George Foreman. But then he became a little bit of a punchline. He had a fight where he fought 5 guys one day. It was to prove himself after the Ali thing, and I think that might have been even after a Young fight, where there were 5 guys, he fought them all. It was kind of a joke. So he became a little bit of a punchline right at the end of his boxing career when he retired. But then people were aware of what, that he kind of, they knew he was a religious guy, and his, the nature of who he was, and then he changed all that when he came back.
Al, I got to ask you, one of the best fights I ever saw, I was a youngster, is the Hagler-Hearns fight. I think you covered it with Al Michaels. I think that was at Caesars as well. Is that pound for pound the best fight you ever covered?
Yeah, it's that and one other one, which you may remember, Jose Luis Castillo and Diego Corrales. It was a lightweight fight that went 9.5 rounds, lightweight championship fight. And I always say that fight was Hagler-Hearns times 3 because it went 6.5 more rounds.
Damn.
But Hagler-Hearns was, given its significance and its excitement, was probably the most extraordinary. You know what I thought you were going to talk about? I thought you were going to talk about George Foreman and Ron Lyle in that fight that we've all seen, and most people, even younger guys, have seen on YouTube, which was a wild fight. That was obviously
a lot of people don't talk about that fight, huh? A lot of people don't mention that because of the name, probably, right?
A staggering fight. That was, and that was during Foreman's first, when he was, younger. That was during that period where he was trying to redeem himself, and he and Ron Lyle had a fight that, honestly, you could say was the most exciting heavyweight fight of all time.
And Al, my bad, Shaun. One thing, Al, the biggest, I guess, discrepancy now, covering those fights to the fighting now, when guys aren't really fighting like they did back in the day. They'd fight 3 fights in a year, right? Minimum. Nowadays, you're making a year off in between fights. What's the biggest difference in your opinion, today's fighting versus yesteryear?
Well, part of it is that fighters will fight twice a year now, sometimes only once, if depending on the situation. They're going to fight 2 times. Some fighters Three is considered active, which is strange. But that's one of the differences, obviously, and that makes it hard sometimes for fighters, I think, to build fan bases and for it to continue. But one of the misnomers is fighters are still, and especially in the last couple of years, fighters are taking on tough fights and making great fights. It's just that there are fewer of them for each fighter. In other words, I could go and look at the boxing schedule from January of this year to July, and I could pick out a dozen terrific fights, or more, but they won't be with the same fighter that maybe if he fought in February, he or she would fought in February, they would be back in September. So that is certainly a different dynamic. And I believe it's an issue for the sport. Well-recognized fighters in the past sometimes fought way too much. It's a sport that takes a toll on you. But somewhere in between is probably the right number.
Well, Al, when I found out you were on, I got excited. I grew up with Winky Wright and Antonio Tarver. I went to high school with Left Hook.
Oh,
Jeff
I love
Lacey.
Antonio.
So, I'm a boxing fan. I got a couple questions. My first one being this. If you count post-Klitschko brothers as an era, this new era of heavyweights, out of Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Usyk, pick whichever one you want in their prime, how would they fare during the Foreman, Ali era of heavyweights, and why?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. During that era, there was Foreman, Ali, Frazier. Underneath them, there were the guys like Lyle, Ernie Shavers, Kenny Norton, who was a terrific fighter, he went into the Larry Holmes era too, but just for a little bit, because that was toward the end of his career. So the Furies and and Usyk and Anthony Joshua, they would have been certainly forces at that time in the sense that they would have been there as contenders. They would have had a couple of them have physical advantages because they would be a lot bigger than some of the heavyweights that we're talking about. Fury and Joshua, much bigger. Wilder taller but not stockier. Usyk is to me one of the most interesting because his weight and his size fits more appropriately, I think, with the heavyweights at that time. George was pretty big, and I think he would have been tricky for any heavyweight during that time. And would they have won championships? Would they have dominated against those men? Probably not. But there would have been fights that would have been competitive, and they would have had their moments for sure. I wrote a story about this heavyweight era. This heavyweight era has been very fun and very exciting. It doesn't mean these fighters are the greatest and could beat all the top heavyweights before. It just means they're good and they've had a lot of good fights against each other. So I think it would have been a mixed bag had they, for instance, Kenny Norton was a really good fighter, terrific fighter, had trouble with big punchers. So let's say Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder would have been dangerous to Kenny Norton, but only for 5 rounds, because after those 5 rounds were done, Kenny Norton would have gone in and eaten him up.
Yeah, them skinny legs.
Inside, and once Kenny Norton realized that he wasn't going to be hurt, he would have dominated Deontay Wilder. And all of those guys I just mentioned, Joshua's a perfect example. Can be a big puncher. Again, a guy like Norton would be, that would be, and Joe Frazier the same way. He would be any of those guys these big guys, if they didn't hurt him by round 7, they would have been in trouble.
It's the Coach JB show with Big Smitty, Big King filling in. Al, I asked all my boxing guys this question. One of them's undefeated, considered arguably the greatest fighter of all time. The other one is currently still fighting, but he's undefeated. Mythical matchup at 147 pounds. I got to say the weight because I think that's important in these mythical matchups. Floyd Mayweather versus Terrence Crawford. How does that fight play out at 147?
It's a fascinating fight. You know, I think that at 147, you're saying, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, which is interesting because that's you picked a weight kind of where, I mean, Crawford kind of arrived there and Mayweather both arrived there as well after a little while in his career. It's a fight where you have two very good tacticians, but Crawford probably a slight edge in power. Mayweather's not a huge puncher, obviously. If I had to make a choice, I'd probably pick Mayweather because, and of course, I've covered both of them. Although, ironically, I think I've only announced one Terrence Crawford fight, many Mayweather fights, of course. But I think I would lean to Mayweather because of his slickness, and I don't see Crawford knocking him out. And I feel, based on the competition Crawford has faced, I don't think he's seen Floyd Mayweather yet in his career. I mean,
last one I got for you. One more, JB, because it's a follow-up to this question. Floyd Mayweather convinced an experienced Canelo, but a young and aged Canelo. People forget this. Canelo was still young when he fought Floyd, but he had like 30-plus fights.
He had a lot of fights, and he was a 154-pound champion.
But Floyd, the negotiating genius he is, fought Canelo at a catchweight at 152. Beat him. Right. What is more impressive, Floyd Mayweather beating Canelo at 152, or if Terrence is able to go to 168 and beat Canelo at a bigger weight class?
Oh, it would probably be Crawford's win if he gets all the way up there and beats Canelo. Listen, this is a Canelo that isn't quite what he was before. He's been fighting for a long, long time, and he's in the twilight of his career at this point, but he's still obviously a good fighter. It would be, I think, Crawford winning at that weight. He started out a lot lighter than
35.
Yeah, 135. I mean, for him to go to 168 and win that fight, that would be pretty extraordinary. That's going to be an amazing feat if he's able to do it.
Hey, Al, I can't thank you enough for getting you, being able to steal you. I know you just were marked the 45th year of announcing boxing, man. I don't know how special that is, and I don't know what that means to you. I'm sure the world. It means a lot to us to have you on. I know are you still on like the Zone and stuff like that?
Yeah, I do. I do the Big Time Boxing USA series on DAZN, which is a monthly series there, and some other fights as well. And I have my own YouTube show, Big Time Boxing, that people can get on the Salida Boxing Promotions channel, and doing some other fights as well. So I've been active doing boxing and still enjoying it. I love being ringside and announcing fights. It's fun. I prepare the same way I always have. I have the same passion for it and enjoy it and live in the moment. So it's fun for me.
Al, get somebody just to make me the matchmaker of all of boxing. I mean, I get Fundora Thurman next. We get Shakur versus Gary Antoine Russell. We get Bivol Benavidez. Just tell them to put me over boxing and let me make the match.
Make you the czar of boxing.
That's right.
I have limited authority over all of them. However, I will mention that to them and see if I can get them to install you in that role. I can't promise that I'm going to succeed, but I will make an effort anyway. And I heard you guys talking about the tournament. Like everybody, I'm obsessed. I mean, I'm bleary-eyed after this weekend. Right? Don't you reach a point where you get in the evening after you watch all the games and you've watched the highlights 58 times? You can't watch one more minute of basketball, though. You have to turn your eyes off and look at something else.
Who you got winning? Who you got winning, Al? Who you got winning, Al?
I was a Florida guy, and even though they struggled against
UConn,
Connecticut, I guess if I had to make a choice, it'd be Florida. Though I think Duke and Houston are really, among others, there's at least 3 or 4 teams that can win. So I guess I would just go to Florida because I was thinking it before. But
me too.
But I think there's at least 3 or 4 teams that could win.
Duke.
No doubt. No doubt.
Duke,
He's a Duke guy.
they can do it. They're looking good.
He's a Duke guy. Al, man, I can't thank you enough for allowing you. I know you got a bunch of shows lined up, so we appreciate selling you, man. Enjoy the rest of your
stuff,
and as you sell off into the sunset, man, you're a legend. You've been a legend, and that voice is one of a kind. So I appreciate you, brother, for joining us.
You guys take care. Have a great
Bring
day.
Showtime Boxing back, Al.
Well, I'd like to do that. Take care.
Thanks, Al. The legendary Al Bernstein. Clap it up, pound the like, and subscribe today. Shout out to Mike Bundy, man. Damn, doing it big.
Hey, JB, I got a question for you. Coming off of that interview. Crawford goes to 168 and beats Canelo. In your mind, does he have a legit argument for greatest ever?
Not when the guy retires without a blemish, though. I don't know.
Crawford
let me ask you this question. You're a historian, and I'm an older boxing guy than I am this newer boxing age. That's you and Smitty and Steve Kim, Wheelhouse. When Rocky Marciano was unblemished, as he went as the tide transitioned to the newer age, right? And then you got into, Ali and Frazier and all these greats. And then you went into Hagler. Like, how fast was it before you forgot about who he was? And the undefeated meant nothing because you already started to surpass him with these other guys, even though they lost. That's your question answered to me. Like, are you passing Mayweather?
There are some people that think Marciano's the greatest fighter ever. I don't know.
I get it. I get it. I'm saying, but you surpassed Marciano eventually. Most boxing heads, talking heads, are going to say Marciano got passed by, even though he was undefeated by X, Y, and Z. I still like Roy Jones, even though he lost a few late. I still thought I'm a Sugar Shane Mosley guy growing up right here. I thought he was unbelievable.
Shout out to Sugar Shane Mosley. He gave my boy Winky Wright a chance. We took advantage of it, but Winky's probably not Winky now if Sugar Shane don't take that risk. Hey, y'all get in this chat right quick, man. I want you guys to answer this question. And I know it's a hypothetical because it hasn't happened yet, but that's what we do, right? If Terrence Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds, think about it. Crawford started at 130, if I'm not mistaken. If it was 35 or 30, if he goes all the way up to 68, so that's 35, 40, 47, 54, 60, 68. Can you make an argument that he's the greatest fighter in history? Hit us up in the chat. Let us know.
We have to ask Steve Kim tomorrow, too. I want to ask Steve Kim that question tomorrow.
We got about 75,000 right now watching live. Appreciate you guys. Tell a friend. Jump on, baby. But I want to hear in the chat. If Crawford beats Canelo at 68, can you make an argument that he's the greatest of all time? Because I don't think we've ever seen this done before. Now, Pacquiao came from like 106 all the way up to like 154. But he wasn't undefeated, and he got knocked out. Crawford is yet to lose.
The question is, Steve Kim always brings up, would Floyd Mayweather have survived the Hagler, the Hearns, the Roberto Duran, the Camacho era? I don't think so. They punched in. Like you couldn't have had his style and play the avoid game in a ring that time when those guys came at you like they did. I don't know if Mayweather would have been in that realm.
See, here's what's interesting when you talk Mayweather. I know he had a couple of fights at 54, but 47 really was Mayweather's max weight. Like when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, he was down at 130. He was exciting. He was going for knockouts. He started having some hand troubles. He moved up in weight to chase the money. So the random end up fighting at 160, Leonard, Hearns, like those are bigger guys. So I think when we think hypothetical matchups with that group, a lot of it to me depends on what weight the fights are at. Because Mayweather wasn't as big as that quintet of Duran, Hearns, Hagler, and Leonard.
Yeah, Steve Kim's points are valid when he talks about these guys not wanting to fight and then picking who they fight instead of fighting the best comers. is why the MMA and UFC, to a lot of people, I don't watch either really that deep. A lot of people have surpassed boxing. Like, don't you agree? They rather see the violence of MMA and UFC because the fighters aren't fighting anymore. Like, that's just, you want to see, why is NBA's viewership so low?
Because nobody knows who's out there playing. I swear to God.
Low management, though, right? Guys, stars are opting not to play. Right. Same thing as boxing. Boxers opting not to fight who the best, to me, is viewership problem.
JB, I was watching the Lakers Bulls the other night when the Bulls won by 40. Swear to God, outside of Kobe White, I didn't know one person on the Chicago Bulls team. Saying that to say this, I think the balance is somewhere in the middle of what we get currently in boxing and what we get in UFC. To me, because UFC is damn near every weekend of the year, is too much. Because it can't really get up. I mean, they got damn near a UFC card on almost every weekend, at least 3 weekends out the month. Whereas boxing don't have enough. I think because there is something to leading up to a big fight. Such and such fights in 3 weeks. We hadn't had a big fight this month. Like, there's something to be said about that. But then boxing may go 3 months and not give you a big fight. But UFC to me is overwhelming. It's too exhaustive. It's too many fights, in my opinion.
I think that's what drives traffic. Like, I don't know. I think that's what what drives traffic, in my opinion. I don't know. That's what I think people like. They want to see, you know how it is, man. Everyone, the most things that hit are what? Short clips, the shorts, the reels, 30-second, minute. Okay, I get to see it all the time. MMA, man, I don't think you could oversaturate entertainment. Like, I think people go see concerts every day if they could. I think they'll go see their favorite singer, rapper, whatever. I think they'll go see their favorite athlete. And if you're boxing every week, I think you would have people fighting. You'd have Trump and all these guys flying to the biggest fights. They're going to MMA fights. Trump showed up to the wrestling. Shout out to the wrestler who beat the guy. I think he hadn't lost in 183 matches or something. Oklahoma State beat the guy from where was he from? The what's his name? I don't know, but Hendrickson, I think. I think had a match streak of 183 straight. By the way, wrestlers, Shaun, were my number one recruit when it came to O-line, D-line. If you were high school wrestler, if you were a wrestler, I recruited you over anyone else because you understand that you're the only one on that mat. You can't tap out. You can't tag your teammate. You can't depend on nobody. It's you and him, period.
Hey, shout out to Peds in 2025. Like, when you were recruiting, like, the heavyweight division in wrestling was like guys that looked like O-linemen. Did you see this weekend's, like, man, them dudes look like Zeus. They got muscles. That dude from Penn State, and he rocked up. Yeah, hey, shout out to the chat for saying that the Italian Stallion is the greatest boxer ever. Let me ask you a question, JB. Something we have not talked about at all. Any interest whatsoever in the fact that opening day for Major League Baseball is this upcoming Thursday? Are you going to a game? Are you taking a yacht out down there?
I'm going Dodgers. I'm going to Dodgers opening game. I got luxury to have, go in the locker room before and be so I'm going Dodgers Tigers.
You're in the locker room for the first game of the defending World Series champs?
Dodgers Tigers.
Wow. Better take some pictures, man. That's big time.
Yeah, I went last year. My boy pitched for the Cardinals, and he got me back there. Shout out. And Keenan Middleton. So we went last year to opening day. So I'm going to go again. It's supposed to be nice out. Now, here's the thing about Dodger Stadium that sucks, though. It's an hour to get in, and it's 3 hours to get out, and the game only lasts an hour 50 with this new fucking pitch clock. So it's an absolute waste of money. But... And by the way, it's the most expensive ballpark in the nation. Hot dog and a beer is about $55. And if I had to pay for the tickets for two, it'd probably be upward around $1,000. So I'm just asking you, Shaun, poll question. What average Joe sitting around with his kids and family can afford to go to a Dodger game? No one. It's a joke, man. This is why baseball, nobody shows up unless you're a Dodger or a Yankee stadium. There's only two that really sell out every damn game. And other than that, man, it's a mockery. Florida Marlins, Shaun, your home state, there's about 15 people in the game. Stop it. You better hope Vegas can fill out this new stadium for the A's.
Oh, they will.
Because I want to see
They
Vegas. Because Vegas has proven that they're not really a football town. And we're really proving that other than the NBA All-Star game, where motherfuckers was looting, they really don't like basketball. And
Man,
you
the
know
Aces,
damn well,
first of all, no.
you know
I'm
damn
not
well
gonna
they're
speak
not baseball
No,
fans.
no,
Vegas
no,
ain't
no.
no sports town.
No,
Vegas is a betting town.
Cut the BS. I'm not going to talk about what's going on in the mean streets of Moreno Valley out there. So you keep Vegas out your mouth. The Raider games are jam-packed. It may not be Raider fans in there, but Raider fans are selling the tickets to the visiting team. The Aces games are packed. The Golden Knights games are overpacked. Like, they support everything out here, man. Shout out to the city of Las Vegas and their support for professional sports, man. Don't do that.
I might get kicked out of the locker room if Ohtani sees me, though. I'm going to be honest.
JB, cut it out. Ohtani don't even operate in the same locker room. Like, he got a private locker room, with his own security guard. His teammates can't talk to him unless it's in the dugout.
It's unbelievable. That motherfucker don't know English until he gives you the line. Duke -4. I'm like, this motherfucker's unbelievable, homie. He know English.
Hey, by the way, the Tampa Bay Rays games are going to look like they are packed because the hurricane tore down their home stadium, so they're playing where the Yankees play their spring training.
Yeah, spring training.
I think it only seats like 10,000.
9,800. It's like D2. You'll be back on Wednesday. We're gonna have loaded guests. We might have Jim Lampley on tomorrow with Steve Kim, so Steve Kim can replace Shaun on the asking the questions on the boxing side. They're much more well versed than I am on the boxing thing. But I'm glad to have the legends out here for the crowd because Al Bernstein's a legend. That voice resonates with I think everyone's household when it comes to boxing. Al Michaels and him. I mean, shit, calling those games back in '85 and all the fights he's had. You could probably catch Al Bernstein on every major network today because he's already booked up and he was willing to come on our show to start the day off for him. So you'll probably see him on everyone's big networks after this. So remember, he was on this show first. So pound that like, subscribe, become a member. Shaun, another Merciless Monday, man. The tournament's going. We'll see Wednesday. We'll get to pick our Sweet 16 bracket. All new bracket we'll pick on Wednesday with Shaun King. And pound that like, man. Join us tomorrow on Talk That Talk Tuesday. Steve Kim joins us. Maybe some Jim Lampley. And we got some more guests for you, man. So keep pounding that like as the guests get better every day. Shaun, appreciate you joining us, man, and helping co-host for the micro thinking Smitty, who's traveling from New York, I think, right now. He sent me a picture yesterday. He was in a store in New York, and there was a bunch of MAGA beanies, and he was asking me what color he should get. So maybe Smitty's turning. I don't know.
Hey, why Smitty got to try and act so gangster in all of his posts?
Yeah.
He always
Smitty, you from Indianapolis, and you have a 2-parent household. Stop the cap. Smitty, you're going to be one of these rappers, Smitty. You're going to be one of these rappers at Waffle House. They're going to come make you check in, homie. I got to help him out tomorrow. I got to send guys around the town to help watch his back and shit. It's unbelievable, man. We'll be back tomorrow. Truth Telling Tuesday. Talk That Talk Tuesday on a loaded week. So make sure you're here every single morning. Share the likes, pound it, and subscribe if you're not. And we'll see you tomorrow on The Realest Show on Planet ERF. Peace.